सुप्रभात, नमस्कार, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. मेरा नाम है एंकर प्राची लखानी, and today here I am to make sure that this wonderful day, this wonderful afternoon is going to be a memory for a lifetime. Well, we today, the Diamond Exporters Association Limited, in association with Bharat Diamond Bourse, is delighted to welcome each one of you to this wonderful seminar on the future of studded jewelry, balancing global ambitions, local realities, and generational changes. To formally commence the proceedings, I take the honor of inviting our President of Deal, Mr. Arvind Bhai Parikh, to please deliver the welcome address. Can we welcome Sir with a loud round of applause?
Good afternoon to all of you. Respected Sri Anubhai Mehta, President Bharat Diamond Bourse, Sri Mehul Shah, Vice President Bharat Diamond Bourse, Sri Bharat Shah, President Bombay Diamond Association, and distinguished guest speakers, Sri Bobby Kothari, Sri Binoy Shah, Sri Devan Shah, esteemed guests, fellow jewelry enthusiasts, industry experts and designers. It is truly my privilege to welcome you all. Having spent over 75 years in this remarkable industry, I can say with deep conviction that the diamond and jewellery trade is unlike any other trade. It is an art, a science, a legacy passed down from generation to generation. Over these decades, I have witnessed our industry transform from the days of small workshops and handcrafted to the world of global ambitions, advanced technology, and rapidly changing consumer expectations. The seminar, the 7th in Association Bharat Diamond Bourse, is not just about discussing jewellery. It is about exploring the intersection of art, craftsmanship, technology, and consumer preferences. Today, our discussion will touch upon the latest trends, sustainable practices, and innovative designs, the very forces that will shape the future of studded jewellery. I would like to extend a warm welcome to our esteemed speakers, panelists, and moderators who have graciously shared the time and expertise with us. Our insights will guide us in understanding how to balance the global ambitions with local realities while embracing the generation changes that are reshaping our industry. The strength of our trade has always been our unity as a community of diamonders, jewelers, artisans, and visionaries. Let us embark on this exciting journey together, preserving the values that build our reputation while boldly embodying the opportunities of the future. I wish you all a productive, enlightened, and inspiring experience today. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, sir, for those very inspiring words to start this wonderful day. Well, as they say, Shubh Shuruat, and that's exactly what we have here. I would now like to go forward and request Mr. Kaushik Bhai Mehta to kindly join us on stage and introduce our first speaker for the seminar. Can I have a loud round of applause, please?
Good afternoon to everyone. Our entire focus is the younger generation, and that is the reason we have selected 3 speakers, 50s, 40s, and 30s. They are the future, and another 30, 40, 50 years, they are going to lead this industry, and we want the younger generation sitting over here to see that they also become part of this achievement. Now let me introduce Bobby Kothari. Bobby Kothari is Director of Jewelex India Private Limited, a company with a legacy spanning nearly 6 decades in gems and jewellery sector. Under Bobby's leadership, Jewelex has not only cemented its position as a global powerhouse in studded jewellery exports, but also has emerged as a benchmark for value-driven leadership, innovation, and inclusive growth. Leading team of 2,900 artisans and professionals. Each and every artisan is a team member. That is their motto. everyone is a team member. Bobby has fostered a dynamic culture rooted in philosophy of people first. His unwavering passion for inclusivity and empowerment is reflected in meaningful initiatives, including the hiring of 90, I'm again repeating, 90 speech and hearing impaired employees. So business is a social cause. It's not only making money. He has consistently nurtured high-performing teams, expanded customer market worldwide, and led the creation of a diverse, innovative, and sustainable product portfolio. During his tenure, Jewelex has received numerous prestigious accolades, including being recognized as the largest exporter of studded jewelry from India, along with multiple awards for well-being at workplace and excellence in designs and innovation. The company has consistently been ranked as #1 exporter of jewelry from SIBS, India's premier jewelry export hub. Additionally, Jewelex has been honored as a great place to work. This is more important than anything else. A great place to work for women by the Great Place to Work Institute, and proudly featured among the top 50 best manufacturing workplaces in India. In line with its commitment to environmental responsibility, Jewelex has also achieved carbon neutrality across all its jewelry units. Bobby firmly believes business is not just about numbers. It's about purpose, people, and creating a positive impact. Please welcome Bobby Kothari.
Thank you, Kaushik Bhai, for that lovely introduction. You mentioned there are people in 30s, 40s, and 50s. I'll keep myself at the 30s. Binoy and Devansh can decide which slot they want to take. So good afternoon and a warm namaste to everybody present here, with so many dignitaries here. Start with a quick introduction for Jewelex. So established in 1966, very little money and big dreams, as most businesses at that time were. કે ઓછા પૈસા પણ બહુ બધા ડ્રીમ સાથે શરૂઆત કરેલી. And thank you, Papaji. We went on to start the jewelry business in 1994, and that is when our first export happened. So we've completed about 30 plus years in the jewelry business. The Jewelex jewelry business spans various different markets. All the key markets we operate from about a little over 1 lakh square feet in the SEEP zone. And Kaushik Bhai mentioned 2,900 people, out of which 2,000 people are artisans and professionals in the export part of the business. The balance are in the domestic business. In an industry, as you can look around, if you look around, there's mainly men here. So in an industry which is otherwise dominated by men, I would say that I'm really happy and proud to share 44%, I'm really proud to say that 44% of the people in our company are women. And not only that, I would say 4 out of top 10 positions in the company are women. So, thank you. So we take the opportunity to actually, there's a nice institute in SEEPS called Josh. So we train, Dr. Samta does a lot of work in attracting these people to SEEPS because a lot of people have inhibitions, confidence is a little bit less, and then they're trained in Josh, and then we absorb them, giving them equal opportunity, so there is no separate place for them to sit where they feel like we are this, we are not part of the mainstream society. Quick little bit about myself. I started my journey when I was 19, and I got the opportunity and the good fortune to learn at a jewelry factory in the US for about 5 months, and I came back. Post that, એ વખતે આપણી કોલેજ સિસ્ટમ કેવી આમ ઇન્ટરેસ્ટિંગ હતી કે હું 5 મહિના માટે યુએસ હતો પણ મારું બ્લેકલિસ્ટમાં નામ નહોતું આવ્યું. So I was fortunate. So after coming back, had trained myself in the, got the training in the assortment at that point of time for a certain number of months, and then of course I completed my graduation. Post-graduation, coincidentally we got the allocation, so Papaji and all the seniors at that point of time had decided that jewelry is a good place to be. So we got our allocation, and pretty much that's how my journey to work started. So I had no idea really what I wanted to do. Only thing I enjoyed is that I enjoyed being with people, interacting with people, and I enjoyed lots of travel. So I guess jewelry business gave me both an opportunity to travel and an opportunity to interact with so many wonderful people. So we say that do what you love. If you are fortunate, we get a chance to do what we love, or love what you do. So I fell in love pretty much with the task that I was entrusted, which was basically building our jewelry business. The first 5 to 7 years I thought were extremely hard, because આપણે એક ઓલો નળ પણ ફિક્સ કરવાનો હોય તો આપણને કંઈ આઈડિયા ન હોય, એક મશીનમાં કંઈક બોલ્ટ હલી ગયું હોય તો એવરીથિંગ સ્ટોપ્સ. And also at that point of time, we used to carry the keys to the company. So we would be the first person in. એલું શટર ખોલવાનું અને શટર બંધ કરવાનું કામ. So we used to be the first person in the company and the last person out. So it was a lot of hard work. But I do feel that those 5 to 7 years laid a very, very strong foundation. So my humble observation to all the youngsters here is, your first few years, I know we all want to party, hang out with our friends, but I think this is the best time for anybody to invest in themselves, in whatever career they want to pursue. I feel so blessed and grateful for the team that we have. Most of them are over 20 years in our company. And so I can say that we've literally grown up together. So I would think of ourselves and our team. Here are some of our team members. But I would like to think ourselves as a set of ordinary people giving extraordinary results. None of us are super qualified with the exception of a few. But otherwise, coming together as ordinary people, I think it makes it click. આ ફોટોગ્રાફમાં શું લાગે છે? આપણે બધા ગાડીમાં બેઠા છે? હેન્ડ્સ અપ, જસ્ટ ચેકિંગ ઇફ એવરીબડી ઇઝ અવેક. ગાડીમાં બધા બેઠા છે? યસ. સો ગાડીમાં જે રિયર વ્યૂ મિરર હોય છે એ નાનો હોય છે, જે અહીંયા દેખાય છે આપણને, અને આપણો આગળનો મિરર એકચ્યુઅલી ક્વાઇટ મોટો હોય છે. બરાબર છે? સો આઈડ સે that's I believe our life is very much like that. That આપણી પાસ્ટ અત્યાર સુધી મેં જે પણ કંઈ કીધું એટલા રિયર વ્યૂ મિરર જેટલું જ આપણે રાખીએ તો બેટર, અને આપણે આગળનું ફ્યુચર, પ્રેઝન્ટ એન્ડ ફ્યુચર ઇઝ લાઈક વોટ વી હેવ ઇન ફ્રન્ટ ઓફ અસ. A lot of us end up spending a lot of time in that rear view mirror. કે આઈ વિશ મેં પહેલાં આ કર્યું હોત, કે આઈ વિશ મેં આ ટાઈમે ચેન્જ કર્યું હોત, કે આઈ વિશ મને આ ઓપોર્ચ્યુનિટી મળી હોત. પણ પ્રેઝન્ટ એકચ્યુઅલી બહુ જ મોટું આપણી પાસે વિન્ડસ્ક્રીન છે, જેની આપણે ઓપોર્ચ્યુનિટી, જેનો લાભ લઈને આપણે સરસ ફ્યુચર બનાવી શકીએ છીએ. સો લેટ્સ સ્ટાર્ટ વિથ ધી ઓપોર્ચ્યુનિટીઝ. શું ડાયમંડ જ્વેલરીમાં કે કોઈ પણ ટાઈપની જ્વેલરીમાં ઓપોર્ચ્યુનિટી છે? આઈ ફીલ એટલી બધી ઓપોર્ચ્યુનિટી છે કે તમે ને હું હેન્ડલ નહીં કરી શકીએ એને. મીન્સ એટલી બધી ઓપોર્ચ્યુનિટી, એટલો બધો સ્કોપ છે. કોઈ પણ જગ્યા એવી નથી કે જ્યાં ઓપોર્ચ્યુનિટી નથી. આઈ બિલીવ કે આ ઓપોર્ચ્યુનિટીઝ આર હિયર ટુ સ્ટે એન્ડ ગ્રો. સિમ્પલ લોજિક કે એઝ લોંગ એઝ અડોર્નમેન્ટ, એટલે એઝ લોંગ એઝ આપણી લેડીઝ ઓર નાવ ઇવન મેન ને જ્વેલરી પહેરવી ગમે છે, એ પછી કાનમાં હોય, અહીંયા નેકમાં પેન્ડન્ટ હોય, હાથમાં હોય, ત્યાર સુધી jewelry will continue to thrive. And now with jewelry becoming even more affordable, whether it's through lab grown, of course gold is through the roof, so people are taking silver opportunities. I don't think there is any shortage of opportunities as long as the adornment stays. And adornment 50-100 વર્ષની વાત નથી, હજારો 10,000 વર્ષ પહેલાં આપણે તો ઇનફેક્ટ આપણી સ્ક્રિપ્ચર્સ વાંચીએ ત્યારથી જે adornment છે. So Indians love jewelry and worldwide people love jewelry. So I do believe opportunity is tremendous. The shape and form of the opportunity can change. For example, પહેલાં હીરામાં બહુ ઓપોર્ચ્યુનિટી હતી, પછી માર્કેટ થોડો લેબમાં શિફ્ટ થયો તો લેબમાં ઓપોર્ચ્યુનિટી હશે. પહેલાં ગોલ્ડમાં બહુ ઓપોર્ચ્યુનિટી હતી, ગોલ્ડ મોંઘું થઈ જશે, મે બી પ્લેટિનમમાં ઓપોર્ચ્યુનિટી હશે કે સર્ટન ટાઈપના સિલ્વરમાં ઓપોર્ચ્યુનિટી હશે. તો ઓપોર્ચ્યુનિટી રહેવાની છે એ 100% છે, એમાં મને કોઈ ડાઉટ લાગતું નથી. I do feel lab-grown is also a great opportunity. Our simple philosophy is focus on making excellent jewelry, that's our job, making great quality, bringing in tremendous innovations, working everything with speed, and let the customers and the market decide કે એને શું લેવું છે. એને નેચરલ ડાયમંડ લેવા છે, એને લેબ-ગ્રોન લેવું છે, ગોલ્ડ લેવું છે, પ્લેટિનમ લેવું છે, સિલ્વર લેવું છે, કલર સ્ટોન્સ લેવું છે, આપણને કંઈ ફરક પડતો નથી. અલ્ટિમેટલી આપણો જોબ છે જ્વેલરી બનાવવાનો. સમટાઇમ્સ ધ ચેલેન્જ ઇઝ કે આપણે કોઈ વસ્તુમાં વી ગેટ મેરિડ ટુ અર પ્રોડક્ટ વિચ આઈ કાન્ટ અન્ડરસ્ટેન્ડ વાય. વી ગેટ સો સ્ટક વિથ ઇટ કે નહીં ભાઈ આપણે તો હીરા જ વેચવા આવ્યા છે, હું તો કહું છું આપણે ધંધો કરવા આવ્યા છે. So I do believe the opportunities are tremendous and absolutely no shortage. And since my job is to talk on the export market, I'll leave Binoy to do the domestic market. He'll probably even share further opportunities. I'm going to give a glimpse of one or two reasons or one or two logic of why the opportunity is there. જે પણ કોઈ એક્સપોર્ટ બિઝનેસમાં છે એને જોયું હશે કે ક્વાઇટ ચેન્જ આવ્યો છે ડિમાન્ડમાં. ડાયમંડ્સની ડિમાન્ડ ઘટી ગઈ છે અને લેબ-ગ્રોનની વધી ગઈ છે. સો આઈ સી કે વેસ્ટર્ન માર્કેટ્સમાં વેધર ઇટ્સ US, વેધર ઇટ્સ કેનેડા, વેધર ઇટ્સ ઓસ્ટ્રેલિયા, ન્યૂઝીલેન્ડ ઓર ઇવન UK, આ બધા જ માર્કેટ્સમાં લેબ-ગ્રોન વિલ કન્ટિન્યુ ટુ ગ્રો એન્ડ થ્રાઇવ. આનું સિમ્પલ લોજિક છે. અગેન લાઇક આઈ સે, પ્લીઝ ડોન્ટ ટેક માય વર્ડ ફોર ઇટ સેઇંગ કે ભાઈ આઈ લાઇક લેબ-ગ્રોન, આઈ લાઇક નેચરલ્સ, આઈ લાઇક ટુ ડુ બિઝનેસ. દેટ્સ માય સિમ્પલ ફિલોસોફી. સો યુએસમાં કોઈ વસ્તુની કોસ્ટ ₹1 હોય તો એ ₹3 રિટેલમાં વેચાય છે. અગર રિટેલરને ₹1 આવે તો એ ₹3 વેચે છે. યુરોપમાં ₹1ની વસ્તુ ₹4 વેચાય છે અને ઇન્ડિયામાં ₹1ની વસ્તુ ₹1.5 વેચાય છે. સો આઈ જસ્ટ વોન્ટ ટુ મેક ઇટ ક્લિયર કે ઇન્વેસ્ટમેન્ટ આપણે એમ વિચાર કરીએ કે જ્વેલરી ઇન્વેસ્ટમેન્ટ છે, ડાયમંડની એટલી વેલ્યુ છે, જ્યારે હું ₹1ની વસ્તુ ₹3 ને ₹4 વેચતો હોઉં તો ઇન્વેસ્ટમેન્ટનો ક્વેશ્ચન જ ક્યાં છે. હું વેચવા જઈશ તો એના પાછા મને, એ તો મારી કોસ્ટ છે, એ વખતે વેચવા જઈશ તો મને કોઈ યાર ₹1 મીન્સ ₹3 એક નહીં પણ ₹0.5 મળે કદાચ. સો ઇન્વેસ્ટમેન્ટ તો ક્વેશ્ચન જ નથી. સો પીપલ વેર ધ જ્વેલરી ફોર અ ઇમોશનલ વેલ્યુ એન્ડ ફોર એન્જોઈંગ ફોર લાઈફસ્ટાઈલ. સો આઈ ડુ બિલીવ ફોર ધીસ સોલ રીઝન that the export business, all these Western markets will continue to thrive with the lab-grown jewelry. India is a different place. Once again, leave it to Binoy. But similarly, few markets where there is the investment mindset, જ્યાં આપણે વેચવા જઈએ તો એની કઈ વેલ્યુ આવે છે, એવા માર્કેટ્સમાં there will be a balance of natural diamonds and lab-grown. Even in the US, but it will be specific to different customers. So I do feel this is the opportunity number one. Likewise, there are so many other opportunities. I'm just going to say in a short way. Customization and personalization is such a big thing, right? આપણે ઘણીવાર આપણે કુર્તા બી જોઈએ છે તો આપણને કોઈને મોનોગ્રામ લખાવો હોય છે કે ભાઈ મને મારી રીતે કસ્ટમ જોઈએ છે, શૂઝ મળે છે એવી રીતે, કેટલીય વસ્તુ કસ્ટમાઇઝ મળે છે, જ્વેલરી કેમ નહીં? So I think that is a huge opportunity for doing customization, personalization and online business with speed. Lightweight jewelry is another tremendous opportunity in this time of changing environment. Even silver jewelry with plating, with vermeil. I'm not going to bore you with the technical details. I'm going to simply make it a point to say that there is tremendous opportunity. So if anybody is looking to expand the jewelry business or looking to want to get into the jewelry business, I would be super positive. હવે આપણે થોડી ચેલેન્જની વાત કરીએ. સો ચેલેન્જમાં મારું સિમ્પલ પોઈન્ટ ફોર એક જ સ્ટેટમેન્ટ આઈ વુડ સે કે આટલી બધી ઓપોર્ચ્યુનિટી છે પણ તમને કેમ આવવી જોઈએ, એ મને કેમ આવવી જોઈએ? ઓપોર્ચ્યુનિટી તો સાબુ વેચવાય છે, ઓપોર્ચ્યુનિટી તો ફોન બનાવવામાં બી છે, પણ તમને ને મને કેમ એ ઓપોર્ચ્યુનિટી આવશે? દેટ્સ ધ રિયલ ક્વેશ્ચન એન્ડ દેટ્સ ધ રિયલ ચેલેન્જ. સો લેટ્સ અન્ડરસ્ટેન્ડ ધ જ્વેલરી બિઝનેસ ફર્સ્ટ. Jewelry is a very creative business. It is a finished product business. Diamond business થી આપણે used to છે. Diamond is a raw material business. So એક કપડું બનાવે છે અને એક સૂટ બનાવે છે. આ બે વસ્તુમાં ફરક છે. કપડું આપણે ફાઇન બનાવી શકીએ છીએ, પણ સૂટ જો ખરાબ મેઝરમેન્ટનો બન્યો ને તો એની ઓરિજિનલ પ્રોડક્ટ કપડા જેટલી બી વેલ્યુ નથી એની. ઓકે, સો ઇટ ઇઝ અ વેરી ક્રિએટિવ, very different type of business. એટલે my humble request is, don't come to the jewelry business with a diamond mindset. Keep the mindset of a finished product, કે આપણે ફિનિશ પ્રોડક્ટ સારું બનાવીએ તો એની ટ્રિમેન્ડસ વેલ્યુ છે. એ જ હીરા લઈને, એ જ ગોલ્ડ લઈને ટિફિની શું ભાવમાં વેચે છે, અને એ જ હીરા લઈને, એ ગોલ્ડ લઈને આપણે શું ભાવે વેચી શકીએ છીએ, એ ડિફરન્સ છે. ઓકે, હું બ્રાન્ડિંગ માર્કેટિંગની વાત નથી કરતો. માય પોઈન્ટ ઇઝ, ટ્રીટ ધ જ્વેલરી બિઝનેસ લાઇક ધ જ્વેલરી બિઝનેસ ફર્સ્ટ. જ્વેલરી બિઝનેસ હેઝ અ લોટ ઓફ લોયલ્ટી. ડાયમંડ બિઝનેસમાં ઘણીવાર મેં સાંભળ્યું છે એટલીસ્ટ મારા ભાઈઓ પાસે કે ઇવન બાકી ટ્રેડ ફ્રેન્ડ્સ પાસેથી, કે ડાયમંડ બિઝનેસમાં કંઈ લોયલ્ટી નથી. અરે મારી પાસે આટલો બધો માલ લેતો હતો, હવે એને સસ્તું મળી ગયું તો એ ત્યાં જતો રહ્યો. જ્વેલરીમાં એટલું થવું ઇઝી નથી, કારણ કે ફિનિશ પ્રોડક્ટ બિઝનેસ છે. એકવાર તમે ઓર્ડર આપી દીધો, ઇટ ટેક્સ 6 to 8 weeks ટુ બી ડિલિવર્ડ. દેર ઇઝ અ સર્ટન ક્વોલિટી સ્પેક. એને જો પ્રોડક્ટ મળ્યું અને એ ફેલ થઈ ગયું એના ક્યુસીમાં, તો એ 6 થી 8 વીક એની પાસે છે નહીં એ પાછું બનાવવા માટે. બિકોઝ ઇટ્સ અ ફિનિશ પ્રોડક્ટ બિઝનેસ. એની ક્રિએટિવિટીની વેલ્યુ છે, એની ઇનોવેશનની એની વેલ્યુ છે. સો ઇટ ઇઝ અગેન અ ડિફરન્ટ બિઝનેસ. ગ્રેટર લોયલ્ટી બટ ગ્રેટર એફર્ટ. Jewelry business has a lot of hard work and very, very different teams to collaborate. I don't mean કે diamond businessમાં hard work નથી. I know કે ભાઈ કેટલું બધું hard work છે, પણ jewelry businessમાં diverse ટાઈપનું છે. Creativity, innovation, manufacturing, sales, relationships, IT systems, finance, બહુ બધા sectors, બહુ બધા fields એમાં છે. Also, jewelry businessમાં offering બહુ બધા જુદા જુદા છે. ફોર એક્ઝામ્પલ, ડાયમંડ બિઝનેસમાં આપણે જે પણ કંઈ કરતા હોઈએ, વી વિલ કન્ટિન્યુ ડુઈંગ દેટ. કે આપણે જાડો માલ બનાવ્યો તો આપણે જાડો માલ બનાવ્યા કરશું, પતલો માલ બનાવશું તો પતલો માલ બનાવશું, સિંગલ કટ બનાવશું તો સિંગલ કટ બનાવશું. જ્વેલરી બિઝનેસમાં એવું નથી. તમારી પાસે મલ્ટિપલ ટાઈપના મેટલ્સ છે, મલ્ટિપલ કલર કેરેટ છે, હીરા છે, લેબગ્રોન છે, કલર સ્ટોન છે, પોલકી છે, જાત જાતની વસ્તુઓ છે, જુદી ટાઈપની જ્વેલરી છે. મેરેજની જ્વેલરી એકદમ જુદી છે, ફેશનની જ્વેલરી એકદમ જુદી છે. એટલે ખૂબ જ કોમ્બિનેશન્સ એમાં છે. એટલે પોઈન્ટ ઇઝ, વોટ એવર ઓપોર્ચ્યુનિટી વી ટેક ઇન ધ જ્વેલરી બિઝનેસ નીડ્સ ટુ બી સિલેક્ટેડ વેરી કેરફુલી. આપણે સામૂહિક કરવા જઈએ ને કે હું બધું જ બનાવું છું, બધા જ માર્કેટ માટે, બધા જ કેરેટ માટે, બધી જ ટાઈપની જ્વેલરી બનાવું છું, તો આપણે કંઈ પણ બનાવી નહીં શકીએ. વિલ બી ટ્રુલી અ જેક ઓફ ઓલ એન્ડ અ માસ્ટર ઓફ નન. સો આઈ વિલ શેર કે ભાઈ આ ચેલેન્જીસને ઓવરકમ કરવા માટે, while I will share whatever little experience I have through the years. So I will share my recipe for success, and how I believe you can capitalize on these opportunities. પણ આ જે રેસીપી છે, જેમ આપણે ઘરે ખાવાનું ખાતા હોઈએ તો કોઈક જણના ત્યાં તીખું હોય, કોઈક જણના ત્યાં મીઠું હોય, એવી રીતે ધ રેસીપી કટ એન્ડ પેસ્ટ નહીં કે ભાઈ તમારું ભાવતું ખાવાનું થશે આમાં કે નહીં, એક્ઝેક્ટલી મને ખબર નથી, પણ ડેફિનેટલી એનાથી તમે વસ્તુ બનાવી શકશો. પછી એ વધારે સ્વીટન કરવું કે મસાલો વધારે નાખવો કે ઓછું નાખવો એ તમારા હાથમાં છે. સો માય રોડમેપ ઇઝ બેઝિકલી simply short stories and learnings from the past, which I will share, and I do hope that it will help you in its way forward. So as it says here, from passion to profit. It is not from profit to passion. It starts with the will to work and put in that energy, that time and effort. So let's get going with point number 1. Get a head start. What does this mean? આપણે ક્યારેક 100 મીટર્સની રેસ આપણે બધાએ ઓલિમ્પિક્સ જોયું છે, તો 100 મીટર્સની રેસમાં સપોઝ આપણને 30 મીટર આગળથી ચાલુ કરવા મળે તો કેવું લાગશે? સપોઝ આપણને 50 મીટર આગળથી ચાલુ કરવા મળશે તો કેવું લાગશે? અમેઝિંગ, રાઈટ? કારણ કે બાકીના બધા લોકો તો ઘણા પાછળ છે આપણી. સો this is what I mean by a head start. I'll share 2 experiences where I got a head start and maybe suggest to you what are the areas where you can get a head start. મને પહેલો હેડ સ્ટાર્ટ હતો કે મને યુએસએની ફેક્ટરીમાં જ્વેલરી શીખવાનો ચાન્સ મળ્યો, જે ઘણા બધાને ફોર્ચ્યુનેટ નહોતા, કારણ કે હું ક્યાંય અહીંયા શીખવા ગયો હોત એ વખતે. સો અતુલ કાકા પપ્પાજીએ નક્કી કર્યું કે ભાઈ ત્યાં આ ક્લાયન્ટ છે, તને શીખવાનો ચાન્સ છે, તો મેં ઇન્ડિયન સ્ટાઇલ જ્વેલરી શીખી હોત, એ ક્વોલિટી, એ સિસ્ટમ્સ શીખી હોત. સો આઈ ઓલરેડી હેડ અ હેડ સ્ટાર્ટ, કે કોઈ મારી સાથે કોઈ બીજું જોઈન કરવાની ટ્રાય કરતું હોત તો મને એની પાસે હેડ સ્ટાર્ટ છે, કારણ કે મને ડિફરન્ટ એક્સપોઝર મળ્યું છે. ઓકે, સેકન્ડ હેડ સ્ટાર્ટ ઇઝ કે અતુલ કાકા who is my uncle. ઓલરેડી એ યુએસ માર્કેટમાં 15 વર્ષથી હીરા વેચી રહ્યા હતા. એ વખતે જ્વેલરી નહોતા કરતા પણ હીરા વેચી રહ્યા હતા. તો યુ વુડ થિંક હાઉ ઇઝ દેટ અ હેડ સ્ટાર્ટ? એકચ્યુઅલી ઇટ્સ અ ગ્રેટ હેડ સ્ટાર્ટ બિકોઝ યુ ન્યૂ સો મેની કસ્ટમર્સ. એને ખાલી ફ્યુ કસ્ટમર્સના જ બ્લેસિંગ જોઈતા હતા કે ભાઈ તમે અમે જ્વેલરી બનાવીએ, ઇફ વી મેક જ્વેલરી, આર યુ વિલિંગ ટુ સપોર્ટ અસ? And there were a few customers who were ready to do that. So we had a ready-made customer base. So I got a head start. So if somebody was starting at the same time as I did, I actually had two big head starts. I got to learn and think how the US mindset is. And I got to learn just manufacturing, and I already had the customer ready. Of course, so product development માં બી customer guide કરતો હતો અને પછી ધીરે ધીરે શીખતા ગયા. Okay. Now the question to you is, what's your head start? આપણામાંથી ઘણા બધા એવા છે કે ડાયમંડ બિઝનેસમાં ઘણા વર્ષોથી કામ કરે છે. તમારી પાસે આઈ એમ શ્યોર એવો કસ્ટમર બેઝ હશે. આઈ એમ શ્યોર તમે જે ક્વોલિટી જે વેચો છો એ સ્પેસિફિક કોઈ માર્કેટમાં જતી હશે તો એ માર્કેટની અન્ડરસ્ટેન્ડિંગ તમને બેટર હશે. મે બી તમે કોઈ એવા પ્રોડક્ટમાં છો જે બહુ બધા લોકો ઓછા લોકો બનાવે છે, જેમાં તમારી સ્પેશિયલાઇઝેશન છે. યુ હેવ ટુ ફિગર આઉટ યોર હેડ સ્ટાર્ટ. So let's say why this is important. It just gives you an initial edge. હવે મેં 30 મીટરથી ચાલુ કર્યું અને 100 મીટરની રેસ છે, પણ સપોઝ હુસેન બોલ્ટ પાછળ હોય તો હું તો એને 50 મીટર પર બી નથી હરાવી શકવાનો. So it just gives you a start, doesn't ensure anything else. Please figure out your head start. Where is your connect? If you are beginning the business, I'm sure you have some little USP that can give you a little bit of a head start versus the competition. The second point, and actually this is my, sorry, before I go to the second point, I wanted to make this offer to everybody in the audience here. We as a company, if anybody is willing to learn, anybody from your family, friends, or even your own team, we are always happy to have interns in the company. We'll give you the full exposure. I think what we got as a blessing from one of our customers, we are happy to share with anybody who wants to do that. So I think our industry honestly is built on this ecosystem. If I look at Papaji's generation, and Anubhai, you're here, I think we had a great experience. We shared that Papaji learned, is indebted to your family. So like that, I think it's our DNA and our ecosystem to actually help each other and grow. So I don't think I'm doing anything new. It's just a reflection of what I've learned and what the industry has taught us. Point number 2. This is actually my favorite point. So KYC. Whoa. આ તો બહુ બધી વાર આપણે સાંભળીએ છીએ. Know your customer. I want to ask you the question, especially for people who are in the business for a long time, do you really know your customer? Think about it. Who is your real customer? Any guesses? Who is your real customer? Sorry? The ultimate consumer. The ultimate consumer is your real customer. Okay? And I want to share a couple of examples of how it's so important and almost ridiculous that many people don't know their customer. So let's say આપણે ડાયમંડ માર્કેટમાં જ્યારે આવતા હોઈએ, હું સિપ્સમાં બેસું છું તો મે બી વન્સ ઇન અ મંથ અહીંયા આવવાનો ચાન્સ થાય કે ક્યારેક થોડું ઓછું બી થાય એના કરતાં. અને આપણે કોઈને મળીએ તો એ પૂછે કે શું લાગે છે તમને? દેટ વુડ બી ધ સ્ટેન્ડર્ડ થિંગ. ઓફકોર્સ 2 વર્ષ પહેલાં એ ડિસ્કશન આ લેબગ્રોનનું શું લાગે છે તમને? અને ધીસ વોઝ a big nuts manufacturer that I'm talking to, and I was a little bit surprised that he had no idea what change is happening in the US market. I'd like to share one or two of my own examples of how we got to know our customer better. Last year, અને આ every year કરીએ છીએ, પણ કોઈ વાર એકદમ coordinated વેમાં નથી કરતા, પણ every year જઈને we do something called a store study. કે થેન્ક્સગિવિંગ પહેલાં કે જ્યારે મધર્સ ડે પહેલાં જ્યાં માલ પૂરો ભરાઈ ગયો હોય, કે ઇન્ડિયાના એક્ઝામ્પલમાં દિવાળી પહેલાં જ્યારે માલ પૂરો ભરાઈ ગયો હોય ત્યારે તમે બધી સ્ટોર્સમાં વિઝિટ કરો, સ્ટોર મેનેજરો સાથે ગપ્પા મારો તો તમને ઘણું બધું જાણવા મળે, કારણ કે સ્ટોર મેનેજર ઇઝ એકચ્યુઅલી સેલિંગ ટુ ધ કન્ઝ્યુમર, નોટ ધ બાયર. આપણે જેને વેચીએ છીએ એના પછી એ કોઈ બીજાને વેચે છે, એના પછી એ સ્ટોરમાં જાય છે, સ્ટોરથી પછી કન્ઝ્યુમરને વેચાય છે. સો ઇફ યુ રિયલી વોન્ટ ટુ નો યોર કસ્ટમર, આઈ વોન્ટ ટુ શેર ધીસ વન ઇનક્રેડિબલ ઇન્સાઇટ દેટ વી હેડ. અમે ઓલવેઝ વિચાર કરતા હતા આ 2 વર્ષ પહેલાં બી કે ભાઈ આ લેબ ગ્રોન કેટલું વેચાશે કંઈ ખબર નથી પડતી એમ. ચલો ભાઈ સ્ટોર વિઝિટ માટે તો જઈએ. અને સ્ટોર વિઝિટ ઇઝ નોટ ઓનલી ફોર યોર કસ્ટમર. સપોઝ આપણે સિગ્નેટને વેચતા હોઈએ તો જેસી પેનીમાં બી જઈ આવવાનું, મેસીઝમાં બી જઈ આવવાનું, કોઈ થોડી હાઈ એન્ડ સ્ટોરમાં બી જઈ આવવાનું, બીજી સ્ટોરમાં બી જઈ આવવાનું. અને જ્યારે તમે પહેલાં તો ઇવન સ્ટોર મેનેજર સાથે વાત કરો એની પહેલાં બી તમે ખાલી શોકેસ જુઓ ને તો તમને ઘણું બધું ખબર પડી જાય. અરે લાસ્ટ યર તો એક જ શોકેસ હતું લેબગ્રોનનું સાઈડમાં, હવે એના 3 થઈ ગયા છે. ડઝ ઇટ ટેલ યુ સમથિંગ? રાઈટ. મારા 10 શોકેસમાંથી મે બી આ વર્ષે જ્યારે થેન્ક્સ ગિવિંગ પહેલાં જશું ત્યારે મે બી 7 થઈ ગયા હશે. મારે કોઈને પૂછવાની જરૂર છે કે હવે શું થઈ રહ્યું છે? ઓકે, નેક્સ્ટ ક્વેશ્ચન આપણે સ્ટોર મેનેજરને પૂછીએ, સાહેબ કેમ છો, બધું બરાબર છે, કેવું ચાલે છે તમારું નેચરલ ડાયમંડનું સેલ? અચ્છા, જે બી એનો આન્સર હોય, સારું છે, નથી, જે બી હોય, કેવું ચાલે છે લેબગ્રોનનું સેલ, કેમ વેચાય છે, કઈ કેટેગરીમાં વેચાય છે? અચ્છા, કોઈ જગા છે નેચરલમાં ગ્રો થવાની? તમને લાગે છે કે લેબગ્રોન આનાથી વધારે આવશે, પણ ડાયમંડના ભાવ તો આટલા બધા ઘટી ગયા છે લેબગ્રોનના, તો બી તમને લાગે છે આ ચાલશે? ઇફ યુ હેવ ધીસ કોન્વર્સેશન વિથ 10 ડિફરન્ટ સ્ટોર મેનેજર્સ, આઈ બેટ યુ વિલ નો મોર દેન ધ ગાય હુ આસ્ક મી દેટ ક્વેશ્ચન ઇન ધ નાટ્સ બિઝનેસ કે લેબગ્રોન ડાયમંડનું વધવાનું છે કે નહીં. બરાબર છે? સો આ જે પોઈન્ટ છે, આઈ સે knowing your customer, and this step that I would recommend, and my humble request is every single person here, whether you're 20 years in the business, 30 years in the business, 2 years in the business, or looking to get into the business, needs to do this. Okay, it's simple, it's free, it's open for all, and my request is that if you are intending to come in the jewelry business, definitely take this step. So get out of your comfort zone a little bit. જનરલી આપણને થોડું સંકોચ થાય કે ભાઈ આપણે ક્યાં જઈને હવે બધાને આટલું બધું ફરીએ ને કોઈને મળીએ ને પૂછીએ ને, પણ બીડીબીના આટલા બધા રાઉન્ડ મારો ને એના કરતાં ત્યાં રાઉન્ડ મારો તો આઈ ફીલ કે હું ચિપ્સના આટલા રાઉન્ડ મારું એના કરતાં હું ત્યાં રાઉન્ડ મારું તો મને એના ઘણા બધા આન્સર્સ મળી જશે. અને અહીંયા હું જેટલા ગપ્પા મારું છું એના કરતાં અડધા ગપ્પા ત્યાં મારું, કોઈ બી હું બી સપોઝ ચિપ્સમાં મારતો હોઉં કે ત્યાં મારું, તો આઈ થિંક મારું નોલેજ ટ્રીમેન્ડસલી વધી જશે. અનધર એક્ઝામ્પલ, એન્ડ so I have written, આમાં એક મેં લખ્યું છે, લાસ્ટ પોઈન્ટ મેં લખ્યું છે, ગેટ આઉટ ઓફ યોર કમ્ફર્ટ ઝોન, અંડરટેક અ સર્વે ટ્રીપ ટુ વોટ એવર માર્કેટ ઓફ યોર ચોઇસ. તમારો હેડ સ્ટાર્ટ હોય કે ભાઈ મારા માટે યુએઈમાં મારો કંઈક ગ્રાહક બહુ સારો છે જે મને જ્વેલરીમાં શીખવાડવા માટે કે ચાન્સ આપે છે, તો તમારું માર્કેટ યુએઈ હોય તો યુએઈમાં સર્વે ટ્રીપ મારો. બીજું કોઈ માર્કેટ હોય તો એકવાર ત્યાં બી મારી આવો. ઇટ્સ ટાઈમ ઇન્વેસ્ટેડ. લાસ્ટમાં મેં લખ્યું છે, ધીસ વોઝ વિરાટ કોહલી સ્ટેટમેન્ટ, કારણ કે એની ફિટનેસનું કોઈ પૂછ્યું એને કે ભાઈ તારું રાજ શું છે ફિટનેસનું આટલું, તો એ સેઇંગ કે વર્કઆઉટ, ઇટ, સ્લીપ, રિપીટ, જે બી આપણે કર્યા કરીએ છીએ, જસ્ટ વર્ક એટ ઇટ, વર્ક હાર્ડ એટ ઇટ. એટલે આ વન ટાઈમ ફોર્મ્યુલા નથી કે ભાઈ હમણાં ગયો પછી આપણે 6 વર્ષે જશું, કારણ કે મેં સર્વે તો કરેલું ને 5-6 વર્ષ પહેલાં. હું તો કહું છું કે ધીસ ઇઝ રિક્વાયર્ડ, ઇટ, સ્લીપ, રિપીટ એવરી 6 months, એવરી યર, મેન્ડેટરી. I will share one more experience. Very recently, literally 2 weeks back, I was at a customer conference. અને ત્યાં એ કોન્ફરન્સમાં એના બહુ બધા સ્ટોર મેનેજર્સ, ઇનફેક્ટ બધા જ સ્ટોર મેનેજર્સ એ લોકો બોલાવે છે. એ લોકોની ઘણી બધી સ્ટોર્સ છે, લગભગ 300 સ્ટોર કે ઇન એન્ડ અરાઉન્ડ દેટ છે. તો બહુ બધા સ્ટોર મેનેજર્સ સાથે ગપ્પા મારતા હતા કે ભાઈ શું ચાલે છે, સેમ થિંગ મેં જે તમને કીધું, આ કેમ છે, આ કેમ છે. તો એમાં અમે એ લોકો સાથે એક પ્રોગ્રામ કરીએ છીએ, એક વેડર બોક્સનો, જેમાં એલોય એટલે રિયલ ગોલ્ડની એલોય અને સીઝેડનો પ્રોગ્રામ કરીએ છીએ. એ સ્ટોરમાં બતાવે અને એના ઉપરથી ઓર્ડર લઈને આપણે એને ક્વિક ડિલિવરી કરવાની. તો લોકો ઓલવેઝ અપ્રિશિએટ કરે, અરે આ તમે જે કરો છો ને બહુ ફાઇન છે, એટલા બધા સ્પેશિયલ ઓર્ડર આવતો હોય એવરી ડે એના બનાવવાના, કારણ કે એ આટલી બધી ઇન્વેન્ટરી રાખી ન શકતો એટલે એમાંથી પિક કરે અને આ સ્પેશિયલ ઓર્ડર સાઇઝ 7માં, આ કલરમાં એક્સેટ્રા. તો અમને લાગ્યું કે અરે આ તો સુપર આઈડિયા છે, તો આપણે તો બ્રેસલેટમાં બી ઇન્ટ્રોડ્યુસ કરવું જોઈએ. બ્રેસલેટમાં તો આટલા બધા કોમ્બિનેશન કોઈ કેવી રીતે રાખી શકશે. હવે તો લેબગ્રોનના હિસાબે ફેન્સીની બ્રેસલેટ્સ હોય, રાઉન્ડની હોય, 1 કેરેટ, 3 કેરેટ, 5 કેરેટ, 10 કેરેટ, ઓવલ, આ તે બધું બરાબર છે. તો અમે ઇન્ટ્રોડ્યુસ કરેલું લાસ્ટ યર આ કોન્ફરન્સ પછી અને એકદમ સુપર ફ્લોપ થયું. તો અમે વિચાર કરીએ છીએ કે ભાઈ આ વેડર બોક્સ સેમ એલોય સીસીમાં ચાલે છે અને આટલા બધા એના ઓર્ડર્સ આવે છે, એના બેઝ પર આપણે બ્રેસલેટનું ઇન્ટ્રોડ્યુસ કર્યું, એ સુપર ફ્લોપ કેવી રીતે હોઈ શકે? તો અમે ખાલી સ્ટોર મેનેજરને પૂછ્યું કે ભાઈ આ કેમ આમ છે ને આ કેમ આમ છે, અમને સમજ નથી પડતી. તો મને કે આ તો સિમ્પલ છે, આખું તો ચાલવાનું જ નહોતું. મેં કીધું કેમ બાપુ? તો એનો સ્ટ્રેટ આન્સર ઇઝ કે વેડિંગમાં લોકો પ્લાન કરે છે, ઘણા મહિનાથી પ્લાન કરે. તમારું જે વેડર બોક્સ છે દેટ્સ અ વેલ પ્લાન્ડ ઓકેઝન. કોઈ લગ્ન કાલે નથી કરતું કે ભાઈ ઇમિડિયેટલી ચલો આપણે લગ્ન કરી નાખીએ કાલે, ઘણી બધી તૈયારી જાય છે એમાં, બરાબર છે. પણ બ્રેસલેટ ઇઝ અ સ્પોન્ટેનિયસ પરચેસ. Nobody wants to wait for 2 weeks. Nobody wants to wait for 3 weeks. So while the program is the same, the outcome is very different. So the point I'm trying to make is, did I really know my customer? And when I went to know the customer who's actually dealing with a consumer, and he told me one more funny thing, but he said, men are terribly planned. એ લોકોને એન્ડ મોમેન્ટ પર કે એની વાઇફ માટે કે ક્યારેક કે ગર્લફ્રેન્ડ માટે કે લેવું હોય તો 2-3 વીક પહેલાં કોઈ પ્લાનિંગ કરતું જ નથી. હમણાં સ્ટોરમાં જાય ને હમણાં શું છે ભાઈ એ આપી દે. તો આ બ્રેસલેટનું વન મોર રીઝન ટુ બી અ ફ્લોપ. સો ઇટ્સ સચ એન ઇન્ટરેસ્ટિંગ ઇન્સાઇટ વેન યુ ટોક ટુ ધ પર્સન હુઝ ક્લોઝેસ્ટ ટુ યોર રિયલ કસ્ટમર ટુ લર્ન. આપણે આટલા વર્ષોથી હીરા વેચીએ છીએ, ડીડ વી બોધર ટુ ફાઇન્ડ આઉટ કે કોની પાસે જાય છે, કઈ ટાઈપની સ્ટોર્સમાં જાય છે, શું કરીને વેચે છે, કેમ વેચે છે, ઇઝ ધેર અ બેટર વે ટુ ટેલ ધ સ્ટોરી, વોટ એવર ઇટ મે બી. આપણે શું છે ભાઈ આપણું સેલ થઈ ગયું, આપણી લાઈફ સેટ, મજા કરો અને આગળ વધો. પછી એ સેલ ગાયબ થઈ ગયું તો આપણને ખબર નથી એ ભાઈ મજા ક્યાં જતી રહી, ખબર નહીં પડી. પણ એ જવાની જ હતી, ખાલી આપણને એ વખતે ટાઈમલી ઇન્સાઇટ નથી. જો એ ટાઈમલી ઇન્સાઇટ હોત તો આપણે એ ડિસિઝન ચેન્જ કરી નાખ્યું હોત. રાઈટ? સો આઈડ સે સ્ટડી યોર પોટેન્શિયલ કસ્ટમર્સ, સ્ટડી અધર ફોર્મેટ્સ. એટલે કોસ્કોમાં બી જ્વેલરી વેચાય છે, સિગ્નેટમાં બી વેચાય છે, સેમ્સ ક્લબમાં બી વેચાય છે, મેસીસમાં બી વેચાય છે, હું યુએસ માર્કેટની વાત કરું છું, ઇન્ડિપેન્ડન્સમાં બી વેચાય છે. તો કેવી રીતે વેચાય છે? વોટ ડિફરન્શિએટ્સ? મેસીસમાં કેવી રીતે વેચી શકે છે ફોર એક્ઝામ્પલ. સો સ્ટડી યોર પોટેન્શિયલ કસ્ટમર, સ્ટડી ડિફરન્ટ ફોર્મેટ્સ ઓફ ધ સ્ટોર્સ, સ્ટડી યોર કોમ્પિટિશન, કયા એના નવા પ્રોડક્ટ આવ્યા છે, એ શું ઇનોવેશન કરી રહ્યા છે. સોક ઇટ ઓલ ઇન ડિટેલ નોટ્સ બનાવો અને આઈ થિંક ઇટ વિલ ઘણા બધા આપણા પોતાના જ ક્વેશ્ચન આન્સર થઈ ગયા હશે. So I'll be said, don't be shy, ask, find a good time to visit the stores. I think the same probably could be applied to India, Middle East, any market. ખાલી વીકેન્ડમાં એ લોકોને બોધર નહીં કરતા, નહીં તો તમને they'll show you a really angry face. But otherwise, if you go in the week, I think people are ready to share their story. So that's my most favorite point, I would say. And Atul Kaka actually introduced us to doing store studies and how you go about doing their things. I tell you, it's an invaluable learning. Third point is, don't play the champion's game. What do I mean by that? Most of us feel કે આપણા ધંધામાં એન્ટર થવું છે તો આપણે શું કરશું? ભાઈ ઓકે, આ ધંધામાં કોણ કોણ સારું કરે છે? ઓકે, BNM ફાઇન કરે છે, ગોલ્ડ સ્ટાર ફાઇન કરે છે, આ ફાઇન કરે છે, KBS ફાઇન કરે છે, જ્વેલેક્સ ફાઇન કરે છે. તો આપણે એનું મોડલ સ્ટડી કરો, એ શું કરે છે, આ ટાઈપની જ્વેલરી બનાવે છે, આ ટાઈપનું વસ્તુ બનાવે છે, અને પછી આપણે શું કરીએ? એ સેમ વસ્તુ રેપ્લિકેટ કરવાની ટ્રાય કરીએ. બરાબર છે? ઇઝ ઇટ ફેર ટુ સે દેટ? હું તમને એમ કહું કે ઇઝન્ટ ઇટ સ્ટ્રેન્જ? કોઈ ટેનિસ રમે છે અહીંયા? કૌશિકભાઈ તો એનું ઘણું બધું રમે છે, પણ આપણે એલ્કરેઝને ચેલેન્જ કરતો હોય ટેનિસની ગેમમાં, એવું પોસિબલ છે? આપણે એની જ ગેમ શીખીને એમાં જ એને ચેલેન્જ કરીએ તો ઇઝ ઇટ પોસિબલ? નોટ પોસિબલ, રાઈટ? અનલેસ યુ આર ધ નેક્સ્ટ એલ્કરેઝ, વિચ ઇઝ ઓફકોર્સ પોસિબલ, બટ મે બી 1 in multi-million people would be the next Alcaraz, right? So my suggestion or recommendation would be, definitely study who are the best players in the industry, what they are doing, but make sure you don't do what they are doing. So that's what I'm saying is, don't play the champions game. For that you need to know their game, but you want to make sure you don't do that. So what if I challenge the same Alcaraz in a game of table tennis? અને મને એ પણ બરાબર ના આવડતું, એને લાગે કે આ તો ટેબલ ટેનિસમાં એટલો સારો છે, તું એને છેલ્લે કહું તું કાળી નાની રમને મારી સાથે, એમાં તો શ્યોર એ કંઈ નહીં કરી શકે. સો ઇફ આઈ રિયલી વોન્ટેડ ટુ બીટ ધ કોમ્પિટિશન in that sense, however big or strong it may be, I need to play a different game. My game, my rules, different game. And I will share 1 or 2 examples of that. ડાયમંડ બિઝનેસમાં આ ઘણા વર્ષોથી થાય છે, પણ આપણે ખાલી એ માઇન્ડસેટથી નથી કરી શકતા. ઇઝ ઇટ પોસિબલ ટુ બીટ એન SRK or a Venus in pointers? Hard to do that. For me, super hard to do that. But maybe what if I challenge them in the game of single cut? Maybe they'll say, that's not my game. It's okay, you can go and play it. Is that right? So I'll share one or two examples of my own story, of my don't play the champion or don't play their game moment. After many successful years in the US market, we decided to enter the India market. તો આપણને લાગે કે ભાઈ આપણે યુએસના એલ્કરેસ છે, આપણને તો બધું આવડે છે, પણ જ્યારે ઇન્ડિયામાં આવ્યા તો આપણને કોણ મળી ગયું? વિરાટ કોહલી. ભાઈ ટેનિસ રમતો જ નહોતો, પણ અહીંયા તો તમારે ક્રિકેટ રમવાનું છે, એટલે આપણી ચેમ્પિયનશિપની બધી એબિલિટી ગઈ ડાઉન ધ ડ્રેન. બરાબર છે? આઈ મે બી ધ બેસ્ટ ટેનિસ પ્લેયર, બટ નોબડી પ્લેસ ટેનિસ હિયર બિકોઝ દે વોન્ટ ટુ પ્લે ક્રિકેટ. ઓકે, સો વોટ વી રિયલાઇઝ દેટ ઇન સિમ્પલ લેંગ્વેજ, આપણે જેટલી બી જ્વેલરી અમે બનાવતા હતા યુએસ માટે વોઝ પ્રિટી મચ યુઝલેસ ઇન ધ ઇન્ડિયા માર્કેટ. ઇનિશિયલી ટ્રાય પણ કર્યું, પણ પછી વી આર ઓલવેઝ સ્ક્રેચિંગ હેડ. ઘણા બધા વર્ષો પણ ટ્રાય કર્યું, પછી વી રિયલાઇઝ કે ચાલો આ તો કંઈ ખબર જ નથી પડતી, આપણે અહીંયા આટલું ફાઇન કરીએ છીએ તો આ સેમ વસ્તુ અહીંયા વેચાતી કેમ નથી? Then we realized that of course the market was very different. The champions in that area, આપણે કહે ને હર જંગલ કે શેર હોતે हैं, the people who were the strong people in that area were very, very different. So what we decided to do is to make, we are very good at CNC rings. Machine setની rings એ વખતે બહુ બનાવતા નથી. I'm talking about maybe 15-20 years back or 20 years plus back. So at that time, not many people were using that technology and it required a lot of diamond precision. So we started making the machine-made bangle. And oh my, that was really appreciated. Although આખી ઇન્ડિયામાં maybe machine set diamond bangle-નું કે bangle-નું સેલ ખાલી 1-2% જ હશે. પણ every customer started coming and recognizing, oh, your quality is absolutely amazing. We didn't know how to make any necklaces. We still don't know how to make any necklaces. But we just decided to play a different game. One other point I want to make is, one of my very dear friends in the industry was very excited કે ભાઈ મારે હું આ રિજનમાં સક્સેસફુલ છું તો મારે યુએસ માર્કેટમાં એન્ટર થવું જ છે. બરાબર છે? અગેન મે બી Kohli now challenging an Alcaraz, the other side. So I think very soon he realized that the people who have the strength in the other market are very different. Very different in the sense, એ લોકો પાસે મેમોનો પાવર છે, 10 મિલિયનનો 20 મિલિયનનો મેમો પ્રોગ્રામ હોય તો they want to do it. Are you in a position to do it? No way. It's like હું તો 2 મિલિયનનો પણ મેમો નહીં કરું. Why are you playing his game? So that company eventually went on to do great business in Europe. So some of these big companies never want to take small businesses. As an example, એને $10 million લીડ લેવામાં ઇન્ટરેસ્ટ છે, પણ એને $5 લાખ ગ્રાહકને ઇન્ટરેસ્ટ એન્ટરટેન કરવામાં ઇન્ટરેસ્ટ નથી. કોણ આટલો બધો ટાઈમ સ્પેન્ડ કરે? એની સાથે ડિનરમાં જાઓ. સો ગ્રેટ, that became the other company's game. They decided to choose all customers who were below $500,000, European business, make individual relationships, and eventually became a super successful company. So I think I've made my point to make sure that please study the champions game, but play a different game, play by your own rules. Point number 4. Well, simple point, only one word, focus. So once you've got your head start, એ આપણો first point હતો. Once you've done your KYC, know your real customer and your competition, once you've figured out what is the way to potentially beat the champion, પછી મંડી પડવાની જરૂર છે. પછી focus by choosing one area, maybe a couple of areas, but then going very, very deep in it. I'll give you again my focus moment. We had entered the Australian market by accident, and this was maybe 20 years back. And my cousin who was there just did a tremendous job. એના કેસમાં શું છે, ઓસ્ટ્રેલિયન માર્કેટમાં કસ્ટમર 1 છે, કસ્ટમર 2 છે, અને કસ્ટમર 3 સ્ટાર્ટ્સ ફ્રોમ નંબર 10. એટલે બે જ મોટા ગ્રાહક છે, બાકી કંઈ બિઝનેસ જ નથી એમ. સો બાય ડિફોલ્ટ હી ફોકસ્ડ. સેમ વસ્તુ અમે યુએસમાં જોતા હતા કે આપણે પૂછીએ ભાઈ કસ્ટમર લિસ્ટ, તો આપણી પાસે આપણા લિસ્ટમાં જોઈએ તો બધા ટોપ કસ્ટમર્સ છે, પણ ચાલો ધંધો એટલો બધો નથી, તો આપણને ખબર નથી પડતી શું ચાલી રહ્યું છે. તો વી પિક્ડ અપ ધ ફોકસ ફિલોસોફી ફ્રોમ ઓસ્ટ્રેલિયા એન્ડ સેટ કે યાર આ 20 મિલિયનની પોટેન્શિયલ છે આ ગ્રાહકમાં, 50 મિલિયનની પોટેન્શિયલ છે, આપણે હું 2 બિલિયનથી સેટિસ્ફાઈ થઈ ગયા એમાં. સો વી ડિસાઇડેડ કે ભાઈ લેટ્સ ફોકસ એન્ડ પેનિટ્રેટ. દેટ વોઝ આર નેક્સ્ટ ફિલોસોફી. એન્ડ ધ નેક્સ્ટ ફ્યુ યર્સ કંપનીની ઘણી બધી એનર્જી નાખી સ્પેસિફિક પ્રોડક્ટ ડેવલપમેન્ટ ટીમ, મેન્યુફેક્ચરિંગ ટીમ, ટેકનોલોજીસ, બધી પોતાનો ટાઈમ, રિલેશનશિપ્સ એ ફોકસ કરવામાં. એન્ડ ફોર શ્યોર વી અચીવડ ઇન્સ્ટેડ ઓફ દેટ $2 million to $20 million પોટેન્શિયલ ફોર વિધિન ધ સેમ કસ્ટમર, જે એના પાસ્ટમાં આઈ થિંક 5 કે 10 વર્ષમાં બી અચીવ નહોતા કરી શક્યા. સો આઈ થિંક ફોકસમાં ઇમ્પોર્ટન્ટ પોઈન્ટ શું છે ઇઝ ટુ લર્ન ટુ સે નો. બિકોઝ વેન યુ આર સેઇંગ નો ટુ લોટ ઓફ રેન્ડમ થિંગ, નહીં તો આપણે શું કહીએ, અચ્છા આ ગ્રાહકને બી લેવું છે, આવવા દે, વાંધો નહીં, ઓલાકને બી લેવું છે, આવવા દે. એ જેટલાને આવવા દે કહીએ છે, પછી આપણો ટાઈમ, એનર્જી, પ્રોડક્ટ ડેવલપમેન્ટનો, આપણી ટીમ મેમ્બર્સનો, બધાનું આપણું ફોકસ ઓછું થતું જાય છે. સો ટુ ફોકસ, આઈ થિંક લર્નિંગ ટુ સે નો leaves you a lot of time to say yes for what you really want to do. Point number 5, and I promise there is only 2 more, so bear with me, is collaborate. Share the load. There's way too much to do, especially in the jewelry business. I've mentioned that there is so many areas. So if you're a newcomer wanting to be in the business and thinking કે હું મેન્યુફેક્ચર પણ કરીશ, પીડી પણ એટલે પ્રોડક્ટ ડેવલપમેન્ટ પણ કરીશ, ઇનોવેશન પણ કરીશ, સેલ્સ પણ કરીશ, I think you need to pick a relevant partner who helps you share the load. So collaborate with somebody who can say કે okay તું મેન્યુફેક્ચરિંગને આજો. And my own moment for that was of course when we began our journey, we started with wholesalers. So automatically by sales અને રિલેશનશિપ આપણે જોવાની નથી. અને internally પપ્પાજી and Vipul looking at procurement, Atul Kaka looking at sales, and my job was to focus on the manufacturing. So with collaboration, I think we shared the load. Point number 6. So this is a philosophical statement, but I really like this one. Please read it, but I'll read it for you as well. God has not given everything to everyone, but has given something special to each one. બરાબર છે, આપણને બધામાં બધી એબિલિટી નથી આપી, પણ આપણે દરેકમાં એવી એક યુનિક એબિલિટી તો 100% આપી છે. ઓકે, સો માય ક્વેશ્ચન ટુ ઓલ ઓફ યુ, ટુ ઓલ ઓફ અસ હિયર, હેવ યુ ફાઉન્ડ that something special in you? Have you found your gift? ભગવાને જે આપણને ગિફ્ટ આપેલી છે, have you really found it? And once you find it, and it could be anything, it could be creativity, it could be love for numbers, it could be love reading on the stock market, it could be going and traveling, it could be knowing a great deal about food and dinner. Doesn't matter what your gift is, but we are all gifted with something incredible. So find it and maximize it. Okay. Also, I think get into the habit, once you find, first of course we need to find our own gift. Once we find it, we need to get into the habit of finding that gift with every single team member that we have, key team members especially. So, and I'll share my find the gift moment. Many years back, we were looking to implement a new IT system, and we had few people training in the room. All the seniors were there, and once we finished our session, there was always this discussion for કે ઓકે ભાઈ તમને એક્સરસાઇઝ આપી છે, તમે આ કરી કાઢજો. તો અમારી ટીમમાંથી જે ફાઇનાન્સના ભાઈ હતા, હી વોઝ લાઈક અમે બધા હજી અડધો કલાક લગાવીએ, 10 મિનિટમાં એ ફિનિશ કરીને મારું તો પતી ગયું, અને અમે અડધો કલાક સુધી એ વિચાર કરતા હોઈએ, રાઈટ? આઈ થિંક સમ ઓફ માય કલીગ્સ આર લાફિંગ. સો ઇટ ઇઝ આર eventually the finance guy who eventually became, his gift was that he was so talented with logic and numbers, it was unbelievable. So his gift, we decided that he became the IT head. He had no education in IT, no prior background in IT, just knew, not even a chartered accountant, just knew numbers and logic very well. And we found his gift, and he is the IT head of the company. We had one guy doing assortment in the company, but incredible ability to organize. And today he is the chief operating officer, leading 1,200 plus people in the company. And I can go on and on with this list of people, who were, once you found the gift, the magic happens. ઘણી વાર આપણે શું છે, અરે આને આ તો બરાબર છે પણ આને ઇંગ્લિશ નથી આવડતું, આનું આ તો બરાબર છે પણ એનું પ્રેઝન્ટેશન નથી, અરે ભાઈ જે નથી એ છોડો ને, જે છે એ ગોતો ને. જે એનામાં એક્સ્ટ્રા ઓર્ડિનરી ગિફ્ટ છે એની પર તમે ફોકસ કરો તો યુ કેન રિયલી વર્ક ધ મેજિક. So my request to you is find the gift, find your own gift before it's too late, and help your people find it too. And in the beginning, I had shared that we are a set of ordinary people giving extraordinary results. I think if we are able to find our gift and help our people find it, I don't think every company has the opportunity to be ordinary but extraordinary. And last, you have this sad-looking lady. Some of you all can't see here. The best way to fail, in my view, is to do something that you don't enjoy. Okay? આપણે એવી વસ્તુ કરે ને મને આમ ફોર્સ ફિટ કરે છે કે ભાઈ ડાયમંડ બિઝનેસમાં થોડા પ્રોબ્લેમ છે એટલે હું જ્વેલરી કરવા જાઉં છું, તો મહેરબાની કરીને નહીં આવતા. બરાબર છે? Because if you don't enjoy, first you find your gift. My belief is, once you find your gift, you really think if it fits the jewelry business or what part of the jewelry business it fits. Once you start enjoying, it doesn't matter whether you work for 10 hours because it will feel like it's 2 hours. And if you're not enjoying, those 2 hours will feel like 10. Okay? So with that, I'd like to say that it's too competitive. If you are really not interested, there is absolutely no way that you can succeed. But if your heart is in it, if you really love and find out that thing you love about the jewelry business and about yourself, I think it increases the chances of meaningful success. And thank you for hearing me out so patiently. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
જરાક હું બધાને અહીંયા રિક્વેસ્ટ કરીશ કે જે તાળીઓની અવાજ અહીંયા આવી હતી હજી જોરદાર આવી જાય. A loud round of applause. Well, I believe that Sir has just given us the gift of knowledge over here. So the claps need to be louder over here, everyone. And thank you so much, Mr. Kothari, for those wonderful insights. Well, on that note, I open the quorum for any questions.
Thank you once again. It was wonderful. We are filled with a lot of insights, so questions would take some. But one thing you mentioned was the don't play the champions game. But just wanted to delve down a bit more deeper. But aren't champions the one who know the best about what they've done? So taking inspiration from them, obviously, right? Not just simply copying, but how to approach competition and what to learn and how to rethink that, because when you entered, when you said there was a Virat Kohli in India, then what did you learn from it and how did you apply that with your CNC bangle example?
So first of all, great question. My simple thought is you are definitely going to look up to the industry leaders because they are doing something right, what is clicking for them. But what may click for them may not click for you, is my point, right? Because they are already so strong in that area. The point of Virat Kohli playing cricket, let's say, હું બી વર્ષોથી ક્રિકેટ રમું છું. If I challenge him in that field, I look up to him. I want to learn his fitness regime. I want to learn his discipline. I want to learn whatever it may be with him. But to challenging him in the same game is super hard, right? So if I'm beginning the journey, maybe at a later stage, I could challenge him. But if I'm beginning my journey, I think he will knock me out right at stage 1 only. So I gave the example of the company and the friend who was in the Europe business, and his USP was relationships and smaller business, but he had the glamour of the US. And I want to mean so much effort and getting $10 million. In the US, I could get one order for $10 million. But the person who's taking that $10 million is playing a different game, is playing the money game, the memo game, the return game. Very different than what you can compete with, as an example. So my point is definitely learn from the industry players, but if you are going to compete with them head on, you will have to challenge them on a different game. And the Europe company, probably 1/10 the size of some of the big companies at that time, now they are much larger, chose to play a different game of relationships, of smaller customers which none of the other guys wanted. But if I went into a Signet where that guy was making a crazy deal at a crazy price with incredible relationships, how am I going to compete with him? So my point being, definitely learn from these people because they have set up some best practices and done something interesting. But don't try to only replicate that because it's not going to work for you. You'll have to bring in some USP which is unique to you or a set of your people in the company and make them play that game. That's why I said that Alcaraz ne apne kahi nahi to Kalin Rani ma, if we make him play a game of cards which he has no clue about, I'll definitely win.
Suppose, would you, I mean, is it any possibility that instead of starting the production unit in jewelry, one should start with the marketing, say B2B or B2C first, establish some marketing, and then go for the production?
I think it's a very valid point because there is always going to be excess of manufacturing versus sales. Means આજે તમે એક મોટો ઓર્ડર લાવો તો સીપ્સ ચાઇના થાઈલેન્ડ ગમે ત્યાં ગમે એટલું પ્રોડક્શન તમે કરી શકશો પણ એ ઓર્ડર લાવેવાળા ક્વોન્ટમ ઓછી છે બટ સો ઇન અ જેનેરિક સ્ટેટમેન્ટ આઈ વુડ સે 100% યસ બિલ્ડ ધ ડિસ્ટ્રીબ્યુશન ફર્સ્ટ મેન્યુફેક્ચરિંગ કોઈ પણ તમને કરી આપશે મીન્સ ઘણી બધી કંપની છે કોઈ પણ એટલે ઘણી બધી કંપની છે કરવા માટે બટ if your gift, what I spoke about, if your God's gift is to be the engineer or is to be a highly technically qualified person who has no gift of relationships, then you're better off starting in manufacturing because that's your gift. Would that answer your question? So, yes, because yes, if I am the engineer given to sell with somebody who talks so well and builds great relationships, I'm going to find it hard to compete. So maybe in the collaboration ecosystem, if I am an engineer, I'm saying engineer or not even an engineer, but say highly technically driven, I would rather say, let me manufacture and let me collaborate, one of the other points to say, who can give me the other sales? I'll tell them that I'll give you the best production that there is. You challenge me with quality norms, precision, and I'll be up that game. So if you are able to connect with who you are, and if you happen to be the marketing and the sales guy, then definitely I would say that's a better place to start than the manufacturing. Lesser investments, better, easier start, and many places to make.
Bobby bhai, a lot of us, I think, have this mentality of thinking efficiency or being able to offer something to a customer at a lower price is possibly a head start that many use. That I am able to do this, at a lesser margin or for a lesser price. Do you think that is also a valid head start, or is there something else that should also be there?
Great point. I'll call it a head start and a handicap, because once you get the head start, once you start running, that you'll realize that I'm running on only one leg. So that head start will not take you too much further if you can't make money and if you have to run the business. So take a head start with a reasonable haircut in the price is a reasonable option. Other head starts can be, let's say I have one cousin who's there in Europe who has no clue about the jewelry business, done diamond business for many, many years. Their head starts could be relationships in Europe. All they need to find one or two really good customers in Europe who say, okay, person XYZ, I'm willing to support you in the jewelry business. Imagine how much easier he or she would have made it for their son or their family to say, okay, I'm giving you the head start where you can sit across the table. It's not a cold call that you have to make, and you can have that conversation. The guy can send you products to replicate. Maybe we can buy the products. So that's what I mean by head start. Some advantage. આપણે આટલા વર્ષોથી ધંધો કરીએ છીએ તો આપણો માલ વેચાતો હશે તો કોઈક તો રીઝન હશે ને. Hopefully not only price. I mean, again, certain companies can be price leaders. That's okay. એના માટે price બરાબર છે. Maybe they have the scale. But I'm saying આટલા વર્ષોથી ધંધો કરતા હોઈએ તો if we can find out what is that DNA કે જેના હિસાબે આપણો ગ્રાહક આજની તારીખે લઈ રહ્યો છે, and can we leverage that into a head start. Again, it could be a region. For example, ડાયમંડમાં કોઈ અમેઝિંગ મેક બનાવે છે જે વોચિસમાં જાય છે, તો માય રિજન ઇઝ યુરોપ. દેર ઇઝ નો પોઈન્ટ ઓફ સેલિંગ દેટ મેક ઇન ઇન્ડિયા. બરાબર છે, જો મારે રિલેટેડ હેડ સ્ટાર્ટ જોઈતું હોય તો. કારણ કે અહીંયા એ લોકો બહુ ફાઇન $900 માલની બદલે $600 ઓફર કરશે. તમને લાગશે હવે શું વાત કરે છે, અને મેક સમજ જ નથી પડતી. બરાબર છે, એને સર્ટિફિકેટથી જ લેવા દેવા છે. સો દેટ્સ નોટ યોર હેડ સ્ટાર્ટ. સો હેડ સ્ટાર્ટ કુડ બી અ માર્કેટ, કુડ બી અ કસ્ટમર, એન્ડ ફોર સમ પીપલ લેટ્સ સે હુ આર ડુઈંગ, કોઈ રોઝ કટ્સનું બહુ ફાઇન કામ કરે છે, કોઈ સિંગલ કટનું બહુ ફાઇન કામ કરે છે. સો ઇટ કુડ બી ઓલ્સો અ પ્રોડક્ટ that could give you a head start. Anything that gives you a little bit of edge over 3 people starting at the same time, as an example.
And I'd like to take this moment to invite on stage Mr. Anup Mehta, President of BDB, to present a token of appreciation to Mr. Bobby Kothari on behalf of the Diamond Exporters Association Limited and Bharat Diamond Bourse.
तालियों की आवाज बिल्कुल ऊंची आनी चाहिए. Cannot go down, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, Mr. Anup. So then, ladies and gentlemen, I take this opportunity to once again welcome on stage Mr. Kaushik Bhai Mehta to introduce our next speaker. Can we have a loud round of applause, please?
Binoy Shah is co-founder of House of B&M Private Limited, specializing in diamond jewelry manufacturing, catering primarily to the domestic market. This House of B&M Private Limited was founded in 2003. The firm has found its niche in a visually crowded market through focus on product development and grown rapidly at a very large scale. In a crowded market, they have proved there is always a room if you have a will, if you have a innovation, and if you have a product development. From the very beginning, Binoy has focused on spending heavily on R&D, which has resulted in successfully capturing the high jewelry domestic market. Boasting a clientele as varied as large chain stores, jewelry catering to Hollywood A-listers, I am repeating, Hollywood A-listers. It would be fascinating to know how he manages such diversity, traditional, domestic, contemporary market and Hollywood stars. Please welcome Mr. Binoy.
So, before I share my experiences, I would like to thank Diamond Exporter Association for giving me this opportunity to be here today. So, I went to Surat for a year to learn diamond manufacturing. My dad was into rough and polish, and I stayed in Surat for a year. Honestly, a huge difference between Bombay life and Surat life, and I'm talking about 22 years ago. Huge difference. Like, I would call a gym friend at 10 p.m. and tell him, "Chal, let's go out to eat." He's like, "Kahin nahi male, station par jau par se." You know, those were the days. And every factory I would go to, as you said, Bobby Bhai, people had only one mindset: SPNI system karo. This was the mindset. I understood when I was in Surat for a year that it's not my cup of tea. Either me or my brother, one has to move to Surat to survive in this manufacturing business. And of course, the scale, we were too small that time to even think about that level of investment. I came back to Bombay. I told my dad, I'm not enjoying this. It's too monotonous. He's like, give it a shot. Try jewelry. I said, how? Today also I remember his statement. પોતાના પૈસા લગાડશે ને શીખી જશે. મારા પપ્પાએ મને કીધું તું માલ બનાવ. I said, કેવી રીતે બનાવ? કે જા ઝવેરી બજાર. Started going to Jewellery Bazaar, meeting the babus, asking them क्या चल रहा है, क्या बिक रहा है, क्या बनाना चाहिए. Of course, they would fool me. It was very difficult. So I made some 25-30 necklaces, very lightweight. Started traveling. First I started with South India. Very difficult. Nobody was ready to pay for ready jewelry. Everybody had a habit. We buy loose, we give it to the karigars, we make it. Why should we buy from you? I said, sir, we are offering you better designs, prompt service. Today you are at the counter, you are selling, you are procuring, you are sitting with your karigars, with your designers, you are doing your accounting, everything you are doing. Give us a chance. So it took me good 2-3 years to actually crack my first sale. That also, that client said, honestly, you need to do job work. He gave me order for 2 bangles. I made it. But the whole back and forth, the whole process of procuring diamonds from his supplier, me setting it, giving him the delivery was a very lengthy process. So then he got tempted to buy ready jewelry. That's how we started our journey. And there was a point when most of my family told my dad કે છોકરાનું કરિયર નહીં બગાડ તું ઇન્ડિયામાં એને હોંગકોંગ મોકલ એને અમેરિકા મોકલ. મેં પપ્પાને કીધું કે પપ્પા હું ઓનેસ્ટલી ટ્રિવેન્ડ્રમ સુધી ટ્રાવેલ કરી આવેલો અને those days traveling was very difficult with goods. There were no logistics. We had to hand carry. We had to take early morning flights to avoid the cops or any department at the airport. So all those things I remember today. From Cochin to Trivandrum, I had taken a night train, didn't sleep the whole night because I had to carry my goods. It was not possible to sleep. There was a point when my dad is like, it's okay, you joined manufacturing again. I said, no dad, this country has a lot of money. People were very simple those days. They didn't have avenues where to spend money. Their lifestyle was simple. But land bank, huge land bank, with every retailer and their consumers. Like simple, South માં બધા લુંગીમાં ફરતા હોય. You don't even come to know કે આટલા પૈસા છે એ લોકો પાસે. So my dad's like, okay, take 2 more years, no rush, you are young, give it a shot. Then slowly, a lot of our customers tested my patience. Literally a very unorganized sector. હમણાં તો બહુ જ સારું છે. They used to make us sit for the whole day. Whole day we used to sit in the store. And evening ma, oh, तू अभी तक बैठा है? I said, sir, आपने ही बोला ना, wait करो मैं आ रहा हूँ. So it was a very different game. But now with the show platforms and IHS and so many shows happening, I think it's not very difficult to get customers, attract them towards a new product. India is truly shining and jewelry is adding to the glitter. I would like to share some numbers about our economy right now related to jewelry. So there are reports that the jewelry market is growing at 11 to 13% CAGR until 2028. The key drivers of this growth will be rising discretionary incomes that will fuel luxury as well as non-wedding jewelry demand. Increasing urbanization and digital penetration will expand the reach of organized retailers too. Daily wear jewelry, like most of the points Bobby has covered, are quite similar for the domestic market as well. The product, the relationship with the clients. So there is a huge gap in daily wear jewelry in India today. Again, there is a report that the diamond studded jewelry is going to grow at 21 to 23% year on year for the next 4 to 5 years. So we are talking about a double growth in 4 to 5 years in the diamond studded jewelry in India. Now let us look at some key reasons for such optimism. India's deep-rooted cultural and traditional attachment to jewelry plays an important role in driving market demand. Gold, diamonds, and precious gemstones hold immense religious, social, and economic value. Making jewelry, sorry, making jewelry an integral part of Indian weddings, festivals, and auspicious occasions. The wedding segment alone contributes to nearly 50% of the total jewelry demand in India. We know how Indians are. We love wearing, flaunting, celebrating all our possible occasions. So, secondly, India's rising middle class and increasing disposable incomes are key drivers propelling the gems and jewelry market. The country's per capita income has been steadily increasing, leading to higher discretionary spending on luxury goods, including jewelry. This is a very important point. India's urban population is expected to reach over 600 million by 2031, making up to 40% of the total population. So I would say our biggest trend today is our population. We don't need to go anywhere out of our country for anything. As urbanization accelerates and more people shift towards nuclear family structures, the trend of self-purchasing jewelry, especially among working women and millennials, is gaining traction. Consumers are increasingly seeking contemporary, lightweight, and everyday wear jewelry, driving demand for platinum, diamond-studded, and minimalistic designs. Additionally, the rising popularity of branded jewelry from established players like Tanishq, Malabar, Kalyan, and there are so many others, is influencing consumer behavior with buyers prioritizing authenticity, craftsmanship, and certification. Organized retail and digital transformation in the jewelry sector has significantly impacted market dynamics. India's e-commerce sector experienced a 12% year-on-year growth in 2024, fueled by the rise in internet penetration, mobile usage, and the adoption of digital payment methods. Traditionally dominated by unorganized players, the industry is witnessing a shift towards branded retail chains that offer standardized pricing, hallmark certification, and a transparent buying experience. The organized sector's share is expected to increase as more consumers prefer trusted brands over local jewelers. E-commerce and omni-channel retailing have further revolutionized the market, making jewelry more accessible to tech-savvy buyers. Major brands now offer online customization, virtual try-ons, and secure digital payments, catering to a growing base of online shoppers. Companies like CaratLane, Bluestone, and Tanishq digital platforms have capitalized on this trend, enabling seamless jewelry purchases across urban and semi-urban regions. The convenience of doorstep delivery, attractive financing options, and increased trust in online transactions are further accelerating the market shift towards digital sale channels. Now I'll share some of the key market trends. A significant trend in the Indian gems and jewelry market is increasing preference for lightweight and everyday wear jewelry, particularly among younger consumers and working professionals. Diamond-studded pendants, stackable rings, bracelets, tennis bracelets, hoops, etc. gaining traction as consumers seek trendy yet practical accessories. There is a growing influence of global jewelry trends. Additionally, the emergence of smart jewelry such as fitness tracking rings, tech-integrated bracelets is expanding the market beyond traditional ornamentation, appealing to modern consumers who value both aesthetics and functionality. There is a lot of digital transformation and growth of omni-channel in retailing. The gems and jewelry industry in India is experiencing rapid digitalization with brands leveraging online platforms and omni-channel strategies to enhance consumer engagement. Leading brands like Tanishq, Carrot Lane, and Bluestone offer virtual try-ons, 3D product views, and AI-driven recommendations, making it easier for customers to shop online. Social commerce, where brands engage customers via Instagram, WhatsApp, and YouTube, is also gaining momentum, particularly among young buyers. This blend of online convenience and offline trust building is helping retailers expand their reach, particularly in tier 2 and tier 3 cities where digital adoption is growing rapidly. There is a huge market for customization of high-end jewelry in India today. Indian consumers are actually way ahead of what we are offering them. Their exposure to the brands, exposure when they are traveling, I feel we as an industry are yet way behind in terms of what we should offer our clients. When we are customizing today for big HNI families, is the kind of input they are giving and what they actually want. We are not even there, we are not even thinking about it. This is the capacity of India today. If you ask me, so whatever is written is done. Now I want to actually focus on certain points. So there are multiple categories in India today for studded jewelry. Pehla to, whenever I talk to any friends, family who are in the diamond, purely into diamond business, I said, why don't you try jewelry? Avartu nathi. I said, boss, કોઈને નહોતું આવડતું, બધાએ શીખ્યું છે, બધાએ ટ્રાય કર્યું છે. So there are multiple categories in the domestic market today. As Bobby Bhai said, there is a niche if somebody is doing something really nice with rose cuts. Somebody is focusing on mass, on color stones. Color stones today, honestly, is a huge, huge market. When we travel for all these trade fairs and we see the prices of gemstones, don't take me wrong, diamonds are dirt cheap. If you see the top brands today, what are they promoting in their product is the gemstones. We Indians are manufacturing most of them in India. We have the access to it. We can learn about it. I think we don't want to get out of our comfort zone. Take a step outside, understand, see what is happening. For example, Polki. Polki industry is doing so well. And the next generation honestly loves Polki or diamond jewelry. They are yet out of that traditional gold jewelry. They don't want to wear that, it's too yellow, too bright to wear. Lot of people from other industries have come into the diamond industry in the past 30 years and they have learned and they have done better than us. But we are yet in our comfort zone. આજ આવડે છે, આજ કરવું છે. So somewhere we need to take that step. We need to be, I would put it in, okay, let me put it in a different way. So for the domestic, another advantage is we have a lot of different states. Every state has a different culture, different taste. So there are so many different ways you can enter the domestic market. You pick the region, you pick the price point, and you can focus on particular states as well. As Bobby Ware rightly said, don't play with the champions game, right? Pick a region, pick the product, pick the design language. The most important thing I want to tell you today is anything to do at a small scale in the domestic market is possible. You don't need a large setup. You don't need a huge investment. You can start small. And I would not talk about branding or all those things at the beginning of anyone's career or who wants to get into jewelry or expand into jewelry. Creativity is something which is missing in every sector in the domestic market. As Bobby Wise said, people want to see and learn from what others are doing in the industry. Just follow that, make a variation, and sell it cheap. We need to be original, we need to come out with our own creative ideas and not see what others are doing. Today for us, it's been 20 years, we have not participated in IHS ever. We have not done any door-to-door marketing. The first thing for us was a good product, something different, something which nobody offers in India. And it's a lot of patience. You need a lot of patience in the jewelry industry. We are all used to trading of rough polish. એટલે શું છે માઇન્ડમાં આજે માલ લીધો કાલે 2% મળ્યા વેચો. Jewelry માં બહુ જ પેશન્સની જરૂર છે because the first 6-8 months or a year would just go into R&D, research what you want to do, which category you want to get into, the price point. And I would say the next 10 to 15 years, it's India. Hands down, don't even think for a second. The respect we get when we travel today, I mean, I'm sure everybody is experiencing that, compared to what we used to get 10-15 years back, is very different. We've been working with a lot of European designers for, to understand, okay, they are ahead of us in their thought process, technically, the machinery. But we have some wonderful artisans in India. They need guidance. We personally need to be involved when we are making a product. This is not something a machine can make. Your heart has to be in it. I mean, for us today, I would not give 20% of my time, more than 20% of my time into sales. Our focus is product. Product સારો હશે તો આજે ને કાલે વેચાશે જ. કોઈ ગોતતું આવશે તમને કશેથી બી, because it's a small world. It's a big country, but it's a small world. So, I mean, there is so much scope. My brother stops me sometimes. Okay, calm down. There is tremendous potential. I mean, I am happy to guide anybody who wants to start, who wants some clarity of where to start, how to start. I mean, it's in our blood. Why are we missing this opportunity? Our family, our father, grandfather, everybody has done this for years. And why are we sitting ke, oh, avadtu nathi? I mean what? Everybody came from Palanpur without knowing about the business, right? People came here, struggled. But I would just tell you one thing very, very strongly: be original. Create your own concept. Customers have access to tons of options today. As an Indian, we are known for mass, for commercial goods. Guys, we have the talent. Why can't we make a better product? Why can't we spend on R&D? What are we doing? What are we spending on R&D? Like today in jewelry manufacturing, Bobby Bhai, if I want to ask you in domestic market, you know, how many companies are spending on R&D? Because people have the mindset, આજે product બનાવ્યું, કાલે વેચ્યું, બસ profit જોઈએ છે. It's not possible. Another category is gemstones. I have not learned gemstones. Same thing. My પપ્પાની વાત, પૈસા નાખ શીખી જશે. પહેલી વાર મોંઘું લેશે, પછી તું શીખી જશે. Today I can proudly tell you that every possible color B&M buys and sells. And the colors we buy and sell, most of our clients have never heard of. So imagine, retailers also don't have that knowledge. It's your guts. પહેલા બધા રફ લેતા હતા, કેવી રીતે લેતા હતા? My dad used to say, આમ જોઈને લેતા હતા, કોઈ મશીન નહીં, કાંઈ નહીં. Okay, now people will say, ત્યારે માર્જિન્સ હતા. પણ કંઈક રિસ્ક તો લીધું ને ફર્સ્ટ ટાઈમ બધાએ, ત્યારે જ કરી શક્યા ને. હમણાં we are all in a comfort zone. Don't get me wrong, but stock market easy way to make money. I have burned my hands in stock market in 2008. And I was on my honeymoon. And my dad called me back 2 days early. Boss, તે શું કર્યું છે મને કાંઈ ખબર નથી. And then of course my brother, my backbone, helped me sort it out. From that day I learned there is no shortcut to make money. There is no shortcut. You have to work hard. You have to be patient. You have to give your own time. I'm not saying don't hire a good talent, but till you don't give that time or that vision, it's not going to happen. I'm a little old school also. My brother tells me that, Binoy, why you come so late from work? I said, honestly, I feel that I can walk out at 6 also, but my team needs that support, that sir is sitting in office till we are leaving. I sit with them after 7:30, understand what's happening, gappa mariye, su chale chhe. They should feel that we are bosses end of the day, but we are as a family working for growth. Right? Everybody here, the staff, everybody here is to make money, but end of the day, they need that job satisfaction also, that respect. You know, હું બનું, બધાને હોય ને કે મેં કંઈ કર્યું types. So give it to them. So this whole culture, of course, is changing. Saturdays off, going home early. All this will not work if you want to get into jewelry, honestly. First 3 to 5 years, nothing doing. Even Sundays. I have worked Sundays first 9 years of my life. Till 4 p.m. And so thinking about the journey, actually, there is today tier 2, tier 3, they have so much excess money. They are yet old school. Their first priority is acha ghar and good jewelry. they're yet not into the brands or the cars or the watches. They would travel, but not like crazy, not like luxury travel. Like they would not spend on crazy hotels or flight tickets. I would say India has just started. I'm not against exports or anything, but there is so much potential, Bobby. Everybody, I'm telling you that you will forget everything. Just give it a start. Okay, there is nothing to lose. Today, 60% of your investment is gold, which is very safe as an investment. It's increasing year on year. એટલે બહુ સાદો સિમ્પલ હિસાબ કરું ને તો પ્રોડક્ટ નહીં વેચાય તો શું થશે? મજૂરી જશે, ખોલી કાઢી, સોનું વધે છે, મજૂરી ફ્રી પડી જશે. હીરા તો આપણને વેચતા પાછા આવડે જ છે. વર્સ્ટ કેસ સિનેરિયો. એટલે કોઈ બહુ મોટું રિસ્ક નથી ટુ ગેટ ઇન ટુ જ્વેલરી ઓર ટુ મેક સ્ટોક. Another scope in the domestic market is also B2C. We know the diamonds, we can buy it cheaper. We have the factories, everything is available in Bombay. We need to get into a niche, a particular segment for B2C. Again, people will say કે આટલા shows થાય છે, આટલા B2C players છે. India is huge. I have friends who do so many private events, pan India, through PR companies, through friends, through families, like a tie-up with some designer. And you won't believe it, they are doing well with a very small inventory. There is so much scope. But why am I stressing again on the same point is, we have come into our comfort zone. Today we feel 1 crore has a value. 15 years down, 1 crore ni koi value nahi hoye. The way things are getting more expensive, whether it is property or your basic lifestyle. Another niche is, a lot of people have got into fancy color jewelry also. There is a gap in that market and there is a margin in that market. So, even at a smaller scale, there are a lot of different categories where a person can get into jewelry in the domestic market. So yeah, coming back to B2C. So B2C, we have that advantage in terms of marketing, that our families are from diamond background, our sourcing is cheap, we have the manufacturing set up. There are a lot of B2C shows which a person can do. There is a lot of, social media plays a big role today for B2C also. I know so many brands who have just made their name on social media. It's the social media marketing and a lot of collaborations. Inathi, one more thing I remember Kaushik uncle told me that, like the old days when people used to buy rough, આ કાપડ તું લઈ લે, આ કાપડ તું લઈ લે, એકબીજાને શેર કરતા હતા. Right now is the time for our industry that we also need to join hands. 2, 3, 4 friends, family need to come together. એકબીજાને હિંમત, બધાની અલગ expertise હોય. Somebody is good at sales, somebody at procurement, somebody is at finance. Like-minded people need to come together and start. Like people have done that with solitaire trading, right? Like 4 જણ હીરા સાથે લે છે, ભાગમાં લે છે. Even in jewelry, people should do that. Somebody is handling factory, somebody is into sales. So that is also one point where people can come together and enter the domestic market. Lastly, I would like to speak about the fact that due to formalization of business and potential of growth, we are witnessing growing venture capital interest in this segment. We have the right idea along with vision and execution. It is possible to raise equity capital, and down the line it is possible to capitalize on your years of hard work by selling your stake in your company or going in for an IPO. Who doesn't know Mithun Sancheti here? That's the best example. And there are multiple examples in our retail industry, in the wholesale industry, the gold chain manufacturing guys. Tons of them have come with an IPO and are capitalizing on their efforts of the last 20-30 years. To sum it up, the Indian jewelry segment has immense potential, but of course, how you capitalize it on, it is the subject to your passion, grit and patience. Do whatever you want in domestic, do it with your passion full-heartedly. There is tremendous scope. Anybody needs any help, any advice, can call me anytime. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Shah, for enlightening. I'd like to take this moment for any questions from the audience. If we have for Mr. Shah, you can please raise your hands for the same.
Binoy, you mentioned that branding and marketing is something that doesn't need to be is important in B2C. When we are doing a B2B business, do you see that it is becoming growingly important to establish good marketing practice or branding practice even as a B2B player, or is it more necessary only as a B2C player?
So honestly, if you ask me that marketing for the B2B platform, I would avoid it. Because you don't want to sell to every Tom, Dick and Harry. You don't want to compete with your own goods. Kale, your client will say the same goods in the next store, but he's using a lower quality. You have no reply to that. And what the Indian retailer wants today is they want their suppliers to be quiet. They don't want you to come in the face. They want their secrecy. Whether it's a chain store, whether it's a mom and pop. એ લોકોને બહાર ખબર નથી પાડવી કે એનું goods કોણ બનાવે છે. See, again, Indian consumers are also very sharp. The minute you get into marketing, the consumer will call you directly. So again, your principles, your ethics will come into picture. Would you sell it to that consumer directly, or you would say, no, we are a B2B player? So this is another point, valid point I'll tell you is, ethics ma what today the retail industry is facing is also, and I have brought up this point very strongly 3 years ago, that we should make sure that consumers don't visit IIJs. We have to be very, very strong in this point, because lot of retailers are facing a lot of problem. They're missing out on a lot of business. આપણે એકવાર વેચી કાઢશું, બૂથ પર આવશે ત્યારે 2 વાર વેચી કાઢશું, 5% કમાઈ લઈશું, પણ આપણે આપણા જ બિઝનેસને ખરાબ કરીએ છીએ. મેં 3 years પહેલાં આનો મેસેજ કરાવેલો બોમ્બે રિટેલર્સ પાસે, અને આઈ થિંક લાસ્ટ યર બી કરેલો, to forward this and not allow consumers to come to the B2B show. And it is very easy. Today if you go to Vegas or a couture show in America, very difficult to get in. Not easy. We should have that. We need to safeguard our own business. આ શોર્ટ ટર્મ બિઝનેસ ડાયરેક્ટ કરી લેશું થોડો ટાઈમ, એનાથી આપણે ગ્રો નહીં થઈ શકીએ.
Amazing session, and we are enjoying this part also. You mentioned that you spend a lot of your time in R&D. 20% of your time is in sales and the rest in R&D. Can you give a couple of examples on how you've done that and how has it benefited you?
So before this whole social media, internet thing became big, my research would be traveling to shows, and then how Bobby Bhai rightly said that picking what is not available in the industry. To add to that point, till date we don't allow our team to visit IHS. Simple funda, I tell them I don't want you to see what others are making. I want you to create your own concept. So yeah, before social media and in the internet, I inspired my designers by getting them carpet catalogs, sari designs, nature. And if you're passionate, honestly, you see any object, you can remove a design out of it. So you don't need to see what others are making. If you have the drive, you can see any object and remove a design. So yeah, again somebody will say I am not creative, right? The more you see, the more you learn. You will understand slowly that what I am thinking as of now today is maybe wrong, the design is wrong. But slowly, if a person is not creative by nature, he or she will learn it. It might take some more time. There is no rocket science. You don't need a degree for it. So, even today, when we do our research, I study a lot of architecture. See, end of the day, even in India today, if you go back to the Mughals era, even our Jainism, our temples, there is so much creativity. We don't need to look at what others are doing. There is so much available today for anybody to get inspired.
Just a question. So with so much free money in India right now, where venture capitalists are willing to burn a lot of money or invest in companies, and companies' motto is very different, which is creating more losses, better, like a bigger top line and not focusing on the bottom line, unlike yourself or all of us out here. How do we compete with these companies that are willing to spend X money on customer acquisition, whereas we, being old school, we don't want to spend that kind of money. So how do we overcome this challenge?
Most important thing, product. If your product is good today, I agree, people are pumping in money and marketing and getting into a valuation game. But that would honestly come in a much later on stage, right? Once you get into business. So you will definitely find your path and direction of which category you want to get into. See, end ma to it's our own intention, right? Whether we want a clean business and then we want investors to take it ahead, or we are just playing around. So I would say in the beginning stage, it's too far yet, and it's not too far. It's not too difficult also, but end of the day, I feel personally it's about our own intention, what we want to do.
And now, on that note, I would like to take this moment to invite on stage Mr. Kirit Bhansali, Chairman of Gems and Jewellery Promotion Council and Vice President of Deal, to present a token of appreciation to this wonderful session, and to Mr. Binoy Shah. ताड़ियों की आवाज हाजी जोरदार आवी जाए प्लीज. for this session, once again, I would like to request Mr. Kaushik Bhai Mehta to please introduce our third speaker.
Devans Rajesh Shah is one of the third generation partners at Venus Jewellery. Venus is a leading supplier of premium polished natural diamonds committed to innovation, superior product quality, and ethical business practices. I am repeating again, ethical business practices for which Venus is always known. With a bachelor's degree in business administration and marketing from NM Institute of Management Studies, he initiated his journey at Venus Well as recently as 2018. He spent 2 years at Surat factory crafting diamond himself from rough to polished while understanding various parts of business. Subsequently, he joined the Mumbai office, led the marketing, sales and product divisions. A torchbearer among the young leaders of the family. He has a comprehensive understanding of the business, strategic vision and excellent leadership skill to prepare the company for the future. Let me tell you, this industry always used to promote youngsters. Shreyans Bhai is not here. He became chairman of the council when he was 35. I myself became chairman of the council when I was 35. So the age is never considered that young. Young people have done lots of things for the trade and industry. He has already brought about the path-breaking innovations in B2B e-commerce platform, and he envisaged a bright future for the natural diamond industry. He is also a recent recipient of Diamond Jewellery Council's 40 Under 40 Award. Congratulations. And GJC's Next Generation Award. Let's welcome Devans.
Good evening, everyone. Of course, a big heavyweight challenge to talk after Bobby Bhai and Binoy Bhai with the amazing insights that they've shared with their, youthfulness as well as experience all combined together. First of all, I definitely have to thank Arvind Kaka Kaushik Bhai for asking me to take this challenge of they've given me the task of sharing the outlook for the natural diamond solitaires space. And of course, while we consider everything as a single industry, the whole gems and jewelry space, we clearly see how different many different parts of the industry already are and can be. The jewelry space, the solitaire space, different gemstones, and so many different things that are individually such different businesses, despite most people in the world looking at everything under the same purview and lens. So with the task that I was given for sharing the outlook for this space, I thought that the short-term outlook is something that we are all very well educated about from our WhatsApp universities. We always have regular updates of what's going on anywhere in the world in the industry, whether or not it matters to us. But we are always up to date with what's happening in the short term. So I thought I should rather take a little more long-term view on and share why I personally feel very passionate about what this product and this industry has in place for the consumer and for us. So when we look at it in a long-term perspective, it is important to believe in the product and believe in its future. And I think I'm going to try to think of why I believe in the product and what I think we can do to have that belief transcend beyond just ourselves and right into the consumers who are finally going to decide the success or lack of success. And when we talk about believing in diamonds, right, product is such a core part of our industry, the diamond as a product, that it feels very hurtful sometimes when you hear that industry તો હવે કંઈ થવાનું નથી, આ આવી ગયું, ઓલું આવી ગયું, હવે જૂનું બધું ભૂલી જાઓ, હીરા કોઈને જોઈતા નથી. When you hear something like that and you compare it with the legacies that there exist in the industry, not just in our B2B space, of course we have fantastic businesses and fantastic families that have created fantastic things around us, but even around the world. There are so many amazing people who've really understood the consumer so well and unlocked their desire for this product, which is basically just a rock that we found out of earth. And to build that desire is the toughest part. To make someone believe that this is a product that you should pay $5,000 for, $50,000 for, $500,000 for, $5 million for, to make them believe that this product has this much value, is probably the toughest part of the whole transaction, which is already done, which already exists, which is not something that any of us today, I believe, are putting in even 0.5% of our efforts and energies behind, because we naturally tend to believe that is De Beers' role, that is some other person's role to convince the consumer that they should spend so much, and our role is only to be an agent. So this was last year at the September Hong Kong show, when I was hearing this negativity a lot, and I'm sure all of us were hearing about it, where me and one of my friends thought that when there is so much negativity going on, what can we do to at least make 5 people little more positive about the industry. So we started this small WhatsApp community and a channel which we call the Diamond Industry Positive News Only community, and anything positive that I ever came across, and we all come across a lot of things on WhatsApp, I would just share on that community for whoever wanted to get some positivity. And I realized more than anything else, everyone wants the product to succeed, everyone wants the industry to do well, everyone wants, of course, their own companies to do well, but we tend to stop at the stage of I can't do anything to change it. I, as an individual company or as an individual person, don't seem to have the capacity or the ability to make any small change in how the industry or the business or the product is doing. And so it was a natural thing to start to question myself. Are we really sure that diamonds have a good future? Is it somewhere worth to spend the next many years of life in? And with the little bit of understanding that I got from many sources, I became confident that this is a product and this is an industry that does not have a lot of things that can shake it up too much. And here are a few of the reasons why I thought that this is not something that is a problem. So this is a chart of the annual rough diamond supply for the past few years and a prediction for the next few. It says that there are approximately, if we round it up, around 100 million rough carats being mined out of earth approximately every year. And if we calculate the average yield of, let's take an easy number of 50%, we come down to only 0.6% of the global population of 8.2 billion people needing to buy 1 carat a year. That's all the diamonds that we have. That's the only amount of diamonds available to supply into consumers. And of course, we know there are customers who don't buy diamonds at all. There are customers who buy diamonds probably every week and every month. So if we make a summary of this calculation, even if 99 people tell me that I don't like diamonds, or I don't think diamonds are a great product, only I need half a person to tell me that I love diamonds and I'd be willing to buy for it to be enough. And on the other hand, the product's fundamentals, I think, are very strong. As a product, there is nothing else in this space, that can offer a easy, equal alternative. I feel diamonds are like, they're like a monopoly. Being a wearable luxury, there is, you can't probably, if you want to spend, give a 10 lakh rupee gift to someone, you can't possibly have anything worth 100 grams that's a wearable on your finger. It has to be something that's a gemstone, and most possibly the love for diamonds. It is a beautiful product. There is, this sense of having something high value that is also a tremendously growing space. Everyone wanting to wear a name on their shirt or a name on the bag that communicates the high value. And this is definitely one of the epitome of a high value treasure that anyone would want to keep. And most importantly, across all luxury products, there is very little that has durable value. You look at many products that are made by by brands that most consumers love. They are great products, and it's amazing that consumers love them. But diamond is probably the only product that has durable long-term value, which will stay with the consumer, whether 20% more, whether 20% less, but it will stay with the consumer. And I think in this space, if someone is already tuned by culture and by emotion to think of owning and adoring something expensive, something that expresses their lifestyle, I think diamonds probably have more than 70% of a market share in that space. And there is not something that is immediately able to compete and take away that from us. And of course, as a product, this is like the perfect mix of being an art and being a commodity. There is a market for the product. There is, an easy or less easy way to buy, sell, trade, which makes it, hold its value. And at the same time, it is art. Every piece is so specially unique and different. Because of this combination, probably this is a product that has not left the consumer's mind, despite such a large span of time that it has had, and so many different things that have already challenged the product, already been challengers that tend to believe. Dada says it very beautifully. There were many times that we've seen that people said कि हवे हीरा पति गया, हवे हीरा नो काई नहीं था, and then it always has a return, that it comes back. And I think it comes back more because of having those inherent fundamental attributes as a product. And fortunately, of course, we are lucky to be a part of that space. And of course, just by the product being amazing, it doesn't end there. The consumer has to love the product, and that's where the success is defined. And naturally, this is something that we know that in the last many years, personal luxury goods as a segment has definitely been growing fantastically. Everyone wants to own something more expensive, something more precious, something more unique. And especially people in this, in newer generations are getting into this space of luxury a lot more earlier than previous generations. I know that probably in my family, my parents or grandparents' generation didn't have solitaire studs on their ears when they went to college. But I know that my sisters and my wife and anyone in their generation already had solitaire studs on their ears when they went to college, which means the consumption and the need for the product and the desire to ensure that I have diamonds on me culturally and by family traditions is definitely only on the rise, not on the fall. And having belief in the product is of course only one part. Being able to convey the belief to the consumer, to retailers, building their confidence that diamonds is something that I should own or should sell. Conveying the product's amazingness is the part that is the more difficult part, right? Of course, we have the benefit of it already being in everyone's minds that diamond to hona hi chahiye, but it's not something that will continue on its own. We have to ensure we communicate that well. I was on a customer visits trip to Hyderabad recently, and there was one question boggling my mind when I was going through this research, and I asked every retailer that I visited, how many of your consumers as a retailer do you think are even aware of the fact that every diamond takes more than 10 crore years to form? That every single diamond, even if it's a 1 cent, 5 cent, 5 carat, 20 carat, the larger the piece, the more the time. And 10 crore is only the minimum. When we think of 10 crore years as a timeline, it already sends some emotional signals to our brains that I'm owning something on my finger which is having such long hair, it takes so much time to form, and that naturally gives us the a little bit increased desire to own something that is so precious and that takes so much time to form. And I was so surprised that no retailer gave me a figure more than 2%. Not more than 2% of their consumers even were aware of the fact that this product takes so much effort to form, let alone the crafting and everything that follows. And they told me that whoever knows probably knows because they saw it on Google. It's not that any of us told them, that this is a product that is something you should be so proud of because of this. And so, being able to convey that belief needs all of us to move beyond our understanding of the product. And I think our understanding of the product is very deeply linked with how we trade with it every day. As a B2B operation, we look at our customer as the end of our channel and our supplier as the beginning of our channel. And like Bobby Bhai said, knowing the end consumer and preparing for them is a part that I think there is a lot more potential in. Because only if we understand who the final consumer is can we prepare the product for them. And no better way to start for all of our companies that we are all doing a lot of business since many years. There is always something that your best customer likes about you. There is always some reason why they are sticking with you, and that's most likely not the product. That is most likely something unique about what you do to the product. There's most likely something different that you are providing to them as a value addition, as a service, as an experience. Of course, when we look at jewelry, that is a very different sense of the product because there the product itself is different for every manufacturer. But when I look at our space of solitaires, when we have a 2 carat round shape XYZ diamond, we don't tend to win customers just because the product probably looked better than someone else's 2 carat round shaped diamond. We tend to win the customer more because of something else. And still what we put up at most of our exhibitions is only the product, which is something that is not our strongest differentiator, which is not something that is not our the reason why our customer would like to do more business with us. And when we focus so much on the product, which then tends to become a commodity, we naturally will lose the view of the product being special, unique, there being a special connection that can make the product add value. And so I think the easy way that we tried to solve it for ourselves was to try to give everything a name. Dada used to tell me that customer પોતે જો છે આપણો માલ તો એને ખબર પડી જશે શું સારું છે શું નથી સારું અને આપણો માલ અલગ છે નથી એને ખબર પડી જશે. And naturally that was the trend in those times. But today, probably more than ever before, we need to ensure that we tell the customer what is different about our product. With lesser time that everyone has for spending in meeting people, in traveling, and more time that all of us have in spending on our digital devices, it is more than ever that in a shorter span of time, without the customer needing to go through the product and realize for themselves what is different, when most of them don't even understand technically what could be unique about a product such as a solitaire diamond. It's more important that we identify and give it a name. For example, if we run through one of our salesperson's conversation with a customer, I remember he was discussing how special our pear shapes are, and he would go through a lot of different technical parameters. We make it in these ratios, and we have a sleek outline that we work with, and the light distribution is planned in this manner. And I realized that is not probably the part that is going to be possible to remember for the customer, a long list of things why the product is special. So giving it a name makes that a lot easier. We tried to figure out that what is a good way to help them remember the speciality of the product was giving it a name. Without saying that this was this ratio, that ratio, and this parameters, if we give that product a name, the customer gets the opportunity to easily remember what is unique and special about your product. For example, if we name those kind of pear shapes the cocktail pairs collection, they are a normal pear-shaped diamond if we look at it that way. But if we define and identify their uniqueness and give it an identity, maybe not everyone, but at least some people will start recalling it with that same name and with that same feeling. हाँ वो Venus का वो वाला cocktail pairs वाला लिया था that my customer really liked. He won't be able to recall in the sense वो Venus वाला 156 ratio का sleek outline वाला अच्छा light distribution वाला diamond जो लिया था वो अच्छा था. That is more difficult for him, and I think there is such a large industry, such a wide product portfolio that we have. We don't need to stick to the names and definitions described by global laboratories or global marketers to define our product. We need to add something more that helps our customer, even if it's not the end consumer, to help our customer understand the product better and appreciate it better. And then I think the next part that is probably the most challenging is writing the story of the product, right? I mean, like I said, no one really got the receiving communication that the diamond took 10 crore years to make. And if that is the core reason why a lot of people appreciate and value diamonds, and that is also not conveyed well enough, I know for sure that our product as as each companies that we are, the effort that all of us put in to make the product, the effort that all of us put in to design the product, to make the unique attributes for the product, that is definitely not conveyed. That is definitely something that maybe our customers are not able to already receive from us. For example, there is this Rolls-Royce example that I really like. They say their Phantom edition of their car takes 2 months to make. One single man paints all their pinstripes in the front by hand, and their embroidered headliner has over 250,000 stitches, and that's what they say makes their product special. And if we think about it the other way, you look at what our craftsmen are doing with our product. They are dealing with a product that is so large in size, and our craftsmen are dealing with a product that's so small in size and still doing such a beautiful job with crafting each piece. It takes so much time to actually get through each piece, and we're probably not conveying it because we've not written the story. We need to start writing every step of what we do, not for our retail customer to know, maybe he will know and not value it so much, but to support them to tell the story of the product to the end consumer. And if we write the story well, is the beginning of being able to share more about our product and build the appreciation for the product. And of course, the next easier part then is to tell the story. We've written down what is special about a particular piece or a particular collection or a particular design. And then is the easier part of actually telling that to our retail customer in a manner that they can deliver it to the end consumer. There are multiple ways. I think about it in a manner that if Ferrari as a brand has to think of how their brand experience is delivered across the globe, that their showroom in Mumbai, their salesperson in Mumbai is all actually delivering the experience, but they can deliver it only because it is designed in Italy. Only because the experience and the way it should be delivered is designed where the product is created. If we as an industry are not able to pass on why our product is special to our customers, it's very difficult for someone at the retail end to try and create the story and understand what is special about the product. And that, because of the fragmentation that there is in our industry, we have lot of different parts that are so disconnected. We are not like the Ferraris and the LVs and any other brand in the luxury space who has full control of how their product is made, how their product is designed, how their product is marketed, how their product is sold, how their after sales service happens. Everything is controlled by a single entity in their space. And in our space, we have so many different entities that have no good coordination to deliver that final consumer experience. We don't have the ability or the infrastructure yet to share what is special about this particular diamond final to reach till the end consumer. And I believe that if we are not able to do, we are all selling diamonds, but if we can add a great story which already exists, which already is there with the product, and the retailer is not going to be able to deliver the experience to create a legacy. And I think if this can be fixed, which is an easy thing, De Beers has already done their job. Fortunately for us, the product is already very special. We don't need to be like those new marketing brands which create stories at the retail end and manufacture the story behind. We already have an amazing story to tell, and I think if we are able to tell how beautifully we craft our product, how amazing and rare and special the product is, I don't think there is a problem in the outlook for solitaires as an industry.
Wow. What a thought-provoking address that was. On that note, quickly, if anyone has any questions for Mr. Devan Shah, I would request you to please shoot them in. Yes,
So
sir.
any of the labs would specifically be able to measure even the range or
how old the diamond would be? I think that is something that has great value, of course, if we were able to find out the age of this specific diamond. I know that for gemstones, they do this very well. They take samples of the product and see how many cycles of formation it has gone through. I have not seen myself a particular manner in which aging is measured for diamonds. But what I have seen is there are a few institutes now reporting the rarity of a particular diamond using data available with GI or data available with different institutes. There are a few reports that tell the consumer that your diamond is 1 in 400,000 diamonds. There is just 2 or 3 such diamonds that come in every year. So it's not exactly finding the number of age for the particular piece, but I think we're getting started in that direction, and definitely there needs to be a good solution that can tell a consumer that your diamond is 63 crore years old.
And I'd also like to take this moment to please invite on stage Mr. Arvind Parikh, President of Diamond Exporters Association Limited, to present a token of appreciation to the wonderful speaker, Mr. Shah, with a loud round of applause, please.
हाँ जी, तालियों की गूंज यहाँ पे बजती रहनी चाहिए. Requesting Mr. Anup Zaveri to join us on stage to kindly deliver the vote of thanks.
Good evening, most valued speakers and guests. It is indeed my privilege to deliver this vote of thanks at the thought-provoking seminar on the future of studded jewelry, balancing global ambitions, local realities, and generational changes. On behalf of Managing Committee of DEAL and all present here today, I extend our deepest gratitude to everyone who made this seminar a resounding success. A special thanks to our esteemed speakers, Shri Bobby Kothari, Shri Binoy Shah, and Shri Devan Shah. Your diverse perspective, whether on design, innovation, sustainability, evolving consumer behavior, or digital transformation, have helped us reimagine the future of this industry with both clarity and inspiration. To our industry experts, thank you for highlighting the delicate balance between heritage and innovation. You reminded us that while ambition drives us forward, our local traditions and generational knowledge are what keep us grounded and authentic. The management of Bharat Diamond Bourse, particularly Shri Anup Mehta, President, and Shri Mehul Shah, Vice President, thank you for your support and trust in our vision. Your contribution has been instrumental in making this seminar a reality. And to all attendees, thank you for being an integral part of this journey. Your presence, participation, and feedback have made this seminar a valuable experience of everyone involved. I hope these insights and connections gained from this seminar will inspire innovation, collaboration, and growth in the studded jewelry industry. Once again, thank you all and request you all to join the high tea.
We are thankful to Aneri Mehta for organizing this entire event, to Prachi for giving us magical speech. Of course, to Kelsey from Bharat Diamond Bourse to help us, and Samir for providing us the security support, and our Kamlesh Bhai from Deal. Thank you very much.